football finale episode of Hand Raise Guys. My mic is turned down. There we go, full speed now as we're getting started. Wow, we'll get into a lot tonight. Mississippi State 21, Ole Miss 20. As we're getting started, the connection looks like it's picking back up now. It was down for just a second, but I think we're in pretty good shape at the moment from that standpoint. The internet here in the studio has been a little funky all night, so hang with us in case something goes awry. We're doing the best we can. It is what it is.
Shout out to AT&T.
Yeah, it used to be Max South back in the day when we thought Walter White was basically running that enterprise out of Oxford, but now it's switched over to AT&T.
Yeah.
We're going to get to your calls in a bit. The call line not open yet. We're going to kind of set the table, give you our thoughts, let you kind of go from there, and we'll feed off that and have a night. Be with you for a little while, obviously, on the last one for football. I was going to say we can talk a little bit about the basketball one over Penn State too, but I think that probably has gone on the back burner now considering the way that
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Yeah, as I see in the thread, that is true. Unless you waited till the very last minute here to get this thing done, Ole Miss did cover tonight. Yeah, Leah says let's discuss tomorrow's 8:30 game against Oklahoma State. Hey, if y'all want to do that, we can. But anyway, all right. Ole Miss loses 21-20. I don't even know where the hell to start. There's a lot.
You
start
with
places.
this. You start with this.
Okay, go ahead. Take over.
What Elijah Moore did at the end of the game can't happen. It's a lack of discipline on his part. It's a lack of discipline on the coaching staff's part. It was the right call. You and I had just been talking. My brother Ryan was here. We had just been talking during that fourth quarter drive about how the officials got every call right. Unabated to the quarterback was the right call.
The passing interference right
was the right call.
The roughing the passer was the right call because he did hit the helmet.
Yeah, they were doing a really good job.
Yeah.
And when we didn't see what had happened. We just saw the replay. We figured it was a celebration penalty, and we said, "Oh no, you can't call that."
Yeah.
And then
I thought they just called people out on the field or something along those lines.
And then we saw the replay, and you said, "No, you do call that. That's the absolute right call. They got it right." So before anybody does any officiating stuff, and in fairness to RebelGrove.com, I haven't seen any of that yet.
Yeah.
It was the right call. You have to call that. You can't hold your leg up and do the peeing thing. You just can't. It's a penalty. It was a penalty on DK Metcalf. It's a penalty on Elijah Moore. It's a penalty on anyone who does it. Kicking has been a problem for Ole Miss all year.
Yeah, I think Luke Logan finished just above 50% for the season.
And there it goes. It's a terrible look for a coaching staff. It is. It's a terrible look for Matt Luke. It's a terrible look for Elijah Moore. It's in some ways a fitting into a season where close was the key word all season long. But that can't happen. That can't happen. Because literally Ryan said, my brother, "Hey, what would you do?" And I said, "Go for two." And your answer was they won't. And then we saw the penalty flag, and they couldn't.
Yeah, I think they actually might have been going to had that not happened. Yeah,
maybe so.
Plumlee was healthy per Brian Scott Rippey after the game, so it wasn't a matter. Anything from a quarterback standpoint was not because of health.
You pull Plumlee because he's not a good quarterback at this level. There.
Here's the thing with that. And this isn't going to be about quarterbacks all night.
No, I don't want to do it because the results are in.
I thought he had his best night passing though. I did. I thought he had the two drives that were pretty good. I thought Plumlee was okay. Here's the thing: you've got to scheme the passing game with Plumlee more so than you would otherwise. And Rich Rod did that for a little while, and then they kind of got away from it completely. I thought in the second half we went back to the roll him out, give him one read, because they're on the touchdown drive when they scored first, go up 14-7.
Yeah.
He hit the three different guys across the middle. He had the nice seam to Braylon Sanders on the skinny post.
He had a very good drive there.
Yeah, there was really good stuff
14-0.
there.
They needed a score, and he got one. Yeah.
So play calling went really weird there at that point. I'm spilling water everywhere. Sorry. Yeah, they put Corral in then.
Who's a better passer and in many
terrible
ways,
decision maker, good passer.
He is. He made the terrible decision, but some of his throws on that final drive
were very good.
Were throws that, quite frankly, John Rice Plumlee cannot make.
They convert a 4th and 25. They I don't. It's a stupid game. I mean, I don't know.
And it doesn't matter. Matt's leaving. Corral's gone. He's leaving this week in all likelihood. He's transferring to a Pac-12 school. The rumor is Oregon. I don't know whether there's other schools involved. His family has told people that he's leaving. Ole Miss has not made him available. We have requested him and requested him and requested him. My anticipation is that he is long gone. The decision has been made. And John Rice Plumlee, if this offense is going to become anything, has got to become a more proficient passer. He's got to be able to throw more passes in the route tree. And right now he can't do it. And they had to take him out because the offense was completely dead with him at quarterback. Because other teams, Mississippi State, we talked about it all week. They're good against the run. They're horrid against the pass. They're good against the run. They're horrid against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, they were pretty good against the run, and they're horrid against the pass. And so Ole Miss put in a passer, and boom, 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 you march down the field.
From a standpoint, just reading here Michael Borky tabulated this. Last 2 seasons, Ole Miss has 9 wins over 2 seasons. They went blowing 5 this year. 5 last year, 4 this year.
They're 4-13.
Last year it was
17.
Texas Tech 5-7, fired a coach. SIU, FCS, Kent State 2-10, ULM 6-6, Arkansas 2-10. In 19, as you run through this, the FCS game, Arkansas 2-9, fired the coach. Vanderbilt, somehow Derek Mason gets another game, and New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Those are the 9 wins.
You want to know the stat?
Yeah, sure.
This is my column that's up on rebelgrove.com. It's part of the Rivals Network. You should check it out. Ole Miss's first 7 games next season, 5 of those games are against Baylor, Auburn, LSU, Alabama, and Florida. Would you like to guess the collective record of those 5 teams going into this weekend slate of games?
Very good, obviously.
They've played 55 games so far total. How many would you guess that they have won?
50.
48-7. So here's the thing.
And Ole Miss is 4-13 in their last 17.
Yeah, 4-13 in their last 17. So here's the elephant in the room.
In 3 seasons in the SEC West, they have beaten Arkansas twice and Mississippi State once.
Beaten Arkansas twice, Mississippi State once. Arkansas historically bad.
And in the East, they've beaten Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
And Mississippi State's getting rid of its coach tonight. Joe Moorhead, that was his final game at Mississippi State. Here's the elephant in the room. And I'm not being hyperbolic here because Ole Miss is keeping Matt Luke. But that begs the question, why?
There could not be a worse scenario from everything involved.
Hold on. Let me stop. Lori Hansen says Keith Carter has no. Listen, this is a Glenn Boyce, Chip Morgan, Mike Glenn, that group of people making a decision. This is not Keith Carter. I know he has the title of athletics director. He does not have the authority to fire Matt Luke. Don't know whether he would or wouldn't. No idea. Doesn't have the authority to do it.
Yeah. Keith said what he said on that day because, frankly, he had to.
Nah, whatever. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm somewhat distracted by an NFL game on. It could not have gone worse. Could not have gone worse from a moving into a next season standpoint in every way.
Agreed.
You have the quarterback stuff go on there. I'm not really trying to cuss. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm saying.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
that's good.
We're
There's
okay.
no FCC.
No.
Yeah. Shit, damn hell.
I'm not going to suspend you.
Yeah,
you're good.
So it couldn't go any worse from the quarterback situation. It couldn't go any worse from the way the game was managed from a coordinator standpoint on the offensive side of the ball. Put my hand in front of the camera. It couldn't have gone worse from the way it ended from a discipline standpoint.
Your hand's in front of the camera again.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, no, you're behind because you're watching the stream. That's
right.
what I was talking about.
You're right.
So Ole Miss is already in danger of having apathy with its football program.
Yeah.
6 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins. Still a lot of NCAA scar tissue. No wins of any noteworthiness over this period. I mean, the best win is what? I mean, seriously, what's the best? What is the best win
this season? Vanderbilt. By any metric, Vanderbilt's the best win.
The best win of the entire time is the win over State with Nick Fitzgerald over the last 3 years.
Yeah,
the win over Nick Fitzgerald and that Mississippi State team,
and arguably the win over Kentucky in Lexington.
Yeah, Matt did a good job that season. It's fine.
Yeah.
The last 2 seasons, I think you're right.
It's Vanderbilt at home. It's
Vanderbilt
not Arkansas.
at home.
Arkansas's been.
It's Texas Tech. Sorry, it is. It's
Texas
a 5-7 Texas Tech team.
Yeah, it's last year's Texas Tech win, and this year it's Vanderbilt. A win over Vanderbilt is the high water mark. I wrote this in my column, close, effective tonight no longer counts, or it shouldn't count. Now, with Glenn Boyce running the show, it might. Because I told, listen, I'm gonna really upset people. I hope everybody is. Promise me you're not going to drive after I say this. Talked to someone yesterday who said the word in the coaching fraternity.
You're making me cringe, whatever you're about to say.
I'm going to tell you, though, the word in the coaching fraternity is that Ole Miss is, quote, all in, end quote, on Matt Luke. That next season will have to be an unmitigated disaster. This is the second time I've heard this. I wrote it once before, and people shot at me. That next season will have to be an unmitigated disaster for Ole Miss to move on from Matt Luke. That Ole Miss is, quote, all in, end quote, on Matt Luke.
My first reaction is that can't be true, but with Ole Miss here lately, I don't know.
Well, I mean, my reaction when I was told was, nah, there's no way. And I got pushback with that's what coaches are being told. That's what athletic directors are hearing. That's what's out there in the agent community. That's what's out there among coaches, is that it will have to go indescribably bad.
Season tickets will be down next season. I expect, look, Ole Miss is going to extend Matt Luke on the state side, the government money side, because frankly, it does two things. The buyout on that side is irrelevant compared to anything of any significance.
I think it means $75,000.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And it's going to marry against the foundation side, because on the foundation side, Matt Luke was given essentially a 6-year contract by Ross Bjork when he was hired. He was given 4+ years of bowl ineligibility, so he had 6 seasons. So even at the end of right now, he was still owed a full 4 years of buyout from a foundation side level, which is where the majority of that buyout would be situated from a money standpoint. So we're talking an overwhelming amount of money. It's still 4 years right now. So that thing will go to 4 years, and then the state side will go from 3 to 4 years, and that's where Matt will be. Now, I don't expect assistant coaches to get extensions.
Right.
I expect any assistant coach that's at 3 years to coach next year at 2 years. That's both coordinators. That's Mike and Rich. That's also Freddie Roach, I think, is at a 3-year deal. Then I think every other assistant but
Bicknell
is on a 2-year deal.
He's
They'll coach at
1-year
deals, and then Bicknell, as long as he comes back, which would, obviously they want him back.
He'll get another 1-year deal.
They would just roll him back over to 1 year. So that's the way this thing's going to work. That's what's going to come, in my opinion, barring something crazy. That's the way this thing's going to work out over the next week or so. Yeah. So that's my hunch on it. That's what I think is coming, and you go into next season with this being the last taste in your mouth, and you got Baylor in an opener, and you better win it. I mean,
again, 47-8. You played 5 teams in the first 7 weeks next year that are 47-8 going into this weekend's games. 47-8.
Yeah, Ole Miss plays 8:30 tomorrow night against Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
it is basketball season. That's what's next.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to spend time on it now and delay the calls. Huge win over Penn State yesterday. One of those season-defining potential wins. They get a free shot against Oklahoma State on tomorrow night, and they get a huge home game on Tuesday against a Butler team that is really good. A Butler team that, as of yesterday, was number 20 in KenPom. I don't know what they are today. I haven't checked.
Yeah, look, I'm not defending that contract at all. I'm telling you it was done because it gave Matt the full length of the state requirement, or not the state requirement, the maximum stateside following probation. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what happened. I don't. That's for you to decide and do whatever you want to do with it. Look, it's a 6-year contract on the foundation side. That's different than on the state side. It was just automatic rollovers. It's a 4-year deal, but no matter what, that thing was going to be rolled over the first 2 years.
Yeah, it was a bad contract. It was given by Ross Bjork to Matt Luke. I don't know why. I have a theory. My theory is that Jeffrey Vitter told him to do it, and Ross Bjork was like, okay, this is your hire. Let's do it. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Sexton's really good.
Ross Bjork was hiring Dave Doran. Jimmy Sexton's really good. Jeffrey Vitter is not very good. Ross could not have been happy. Now you know. Some combination thereof.
So from this year to next year, the buyouts will go down $5 million
Something like
ish.
that. Something like that.
Something like that. So they'll go from 16, 17 to 11, 12, something like that.
Something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's rough ballpark.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, we'll take calls if you're ready. I got a feeling this is not going to be pretty, but
I'm drinking water because I had a really rough night with my child being a little sick last night, and I haven't slept. And if I drink alcohol right now, I will go to sleep.
I'm drinking Pinot Noir right now because, well, I just am.
I love how he puts the accent on that. That's my favorite part.
How do you say it? How do you say it? Pinot Noir?
Well,
It's
no,
Pinot,
but
it's
I mean,
Pinot Noir.
Yeah, but, I mean, you like really going that wah. Well, I like
But that's what it's called, Pinot Noir.
Encyclopedia. I mean, come on. You think there'll even be a push to try to get some money together? Just being, I mean,
I don't know.
are my headphones working? I'm hearing nothing.
I don't know. They should be. All the settings are exactly the same. You can't hear anything?
I can't hear myself for sure. I mean, we'll see in a second.
Real quick shout out to our friends at Cathead Vodka. Not only Cathead and Cathead Honeysuckle, but the Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur was honored as one of the top drinks in all of the South. The same magazine,
Garden and Gun.
Garden and Gun, the same magazine that recognized our friends at Blue Delta Jeans, also recognized our friends at Cathead Vodka for the Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur, which is damn good. It's like
that actually would be pretty good with some coffee right now.
It's
I would.
It's like an excellent. It's like
it's an alcoholic Bailey's is what it is.
Yeah, it's a significantly better Kahlua.
I know. I'm opening lines right now. Everybody doesn't have to keep telling me. I'm getting there.
So shout out to our friends at Cathead. Good people. All the folks there. Major Marco.
I got a feeling this is going to be a really difficult operator night because if too many calls come in, I can't get over. And
is your headset working?
I won't know for a minute.
Because I've got some beats over there we can plug in if necessary.
I mean, I hope it's okay.
I do too.
All right. Remind me later on that. Oh. Took a while.
I sure hear it ringing.
Yeah, I heard it ringing too. Hold on
Okay.
a second, caller. Turn your device down, please.
Hey, caller, who's this?
Hey, it's Bubba. How y'all doing?
Hey, Bubba, what's up?
Man, it's been a hard night, but I just want to thank you guys for a good season, and I'm just a little disgusted.
I get it.
And I want your thoughts on Boyce, and also, I'm just Elijah Moore it's disgusting. I mean, I ain't gonna act a fool or nothing. I'm just sitting here drunk and a little heartbroken.
Yeah.
I know y'all are too, but to lose like that, that's just unacceptable.
My thoughts on Boyce is that he was a product of an illegitimate chancellor search. He was complicit in a sham. My thoughts on Elijah Moore, what I said at the very beginning of the show, which is that can't happen. I believe it or not, I actually sort of feel bad for the officiating crew there because they didn't want to make that call. They don't want to be a deciding force in that game, but that's a call that you have to make as an officiating crew. That is unsportsmanlike conduct. It has to get whistled, and they did, to their credit.
Yeah, well, I really think you guys. I just hope the same about Chip Pickering coming in later. That's my fear. And but we'll see how that goes. And do y'all think Rich Rocket is done, or
I think Rich is back.
I think the entire staff is back unless they don't want to be back.
Alrighty.
And frankly,
well, thank you guys for a good season.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bubba. Appreciate you.
We appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Frankly, though, that's kind of Ole Miss's only shot here because you're not going to bring anybody in. I mean, that's what everybody keeps forgetting. Hey, you got to fire this person, fire this person. Everybody knows the head coach has very little job security moving forward into next year, and because of that, you're not going to get anybody. I mean, you're better off keeping everybody there, trying to make it work, and seeing where it goes at that point. Just kind of the way it is. So,
yeah.
I did not mean to grab you, but I did anyway. So people are going to bitch about that. But anyway, how are you?
I'm doing great. Let's start with the top. Can we also describe the fact that Ole Miss lost the turnover battle 3-1, and
we haven't mentioned that yet.
They were all fumbles. And listen, I'm not
2 fumbles in a
I'm
pick.
not disputing.
2
fumbles in a
yeah.
pick. 2 fumbles and a pick, and like if you actually get down to it, those fumbles in the early half of the game, that took at least, in my opinion, at least 10 points off the board. Like I understand the reaction, and it wants to be emotional and whatnot. And I'm not saying this win, if Ole Miss would have won the game, that it would have somehow changed the outlook and changed the record of Mount Luke, because that's obviously disingenuous at best. But the facts being the facts, how many teams win a game that lose the turnover margin by 2? It's under 20%. And I don't know. I feel like some of the coaching takes that I've seen because of tonight, I mean, in fairness to Matt Luke, he called a game in which he was behind for most of it, and his team legitimately had a chance to win the game at the end, and a kid pees on the fire hydrant. And I'm sorry, I just really find it hard to believe that in the huddle he said, hey, guys, if we score, make sure you piss on the fire hydrant so we have to kick a 35-yard extra point.
The teams were very, very equal tonight. They were almost carbon copies of one another. Neither one of them could throw the ball down the field until Corral did a pretty good job of it there late, other than the really dumb decision when they were trying to score the touchdown earlier and throw the pick. But no,
that was predetermined. Yeah. I mean, that was just, in fairness, that was the classic. Hey, as someone who has done that before, that is the classic, I'm going to pump and go this, and I'm throwing this right in the window. And it turned out the same way for me that it turned out for Matt Corral.
God bless you.
Yeah.
I saw your thing, though. Let's perk everybody up. So one quick thing before we let you go and get to more
really
therapy.
exciting.
So
yeah.
So Aaliyah started listening last night, down 20, and they won the game.
Yes. So she wanted to be known. So true story.
Yep.
Aaliyah comes in because Aaliyah finished work a little bit early, and she did some housekeeping things. She comes over, and she is unaware. She thought the game started. She thought she was coming over to watch the tip-off. She did not know that the game started Eastern time. So she comes over at the start of the second half, and the game is at this point 21, and I have moved it off of TV One. And I moved it off TV One and put it in the corner. I'm like, I'm just going to let her see if she has no idea what's going on. And she walks in, it's like, no, I want to watch it. Put it on TV One. I was like, yeah, I don't think you do. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, Ole Miss stopped turning the basketball over. And it turns out if Brian Tyree hits shots, that Ole Miss's basketball team is better than the first half when he doesn't hit shots. So, I'm with Neal. That was a heck of a win. You look at them Ken Palm-wise, they were ranked 30th entering the night. That is a huge, huge win. I think Ole Miss would have been better off last night had Syracuse won, because that could have been a semi-road game metrically. However, I'm not going to act like that's a huge deal. And also, shout-outs to Ole Miss for losing this game, not being able to go to a bowl game at 5-7, because now I can take my lovely fiance to stream song, because I don't know if you know this, Chase. It has an amazing spa. It's not like I'm going there because there's 3 championship golf courses. I'm literally just going there because there's a world-class spa.
Over Christmas?
And I'm just Christmas. So we get like a week and a half off for bowl games, and I'm just doing this because I'm just so selfless, and I'm just thinking of my wonderful fiance. It just so happens that there are 3 championship golf courses right there that a place that has an awesome spa.
I'll need an update. We're gonna move on. Appreciate it, bud.
All right.
Caller, who we got?
Hey, Chase, it's Trip in Memphis.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?
What's
Good.
up, Trip?
Well, first of all, Jeffrey, stream song, not that nice. Spot kind of sucks. Always first to say.
So what was your take tonight? What do you got?
Good night. I mean, where do you even start?
Wherever you want.
Wherever you want to start.
Yeah, I'll let y'all go ahead and get it started. So, and I'm sure it's already been talked about tonight. Corral comes in second half, lights the world on fire, so to speak.
He didn't light the world on fire. He made a terrible pick on a pass on the next to last possession, and then he had a great drive that should have resulted in the game tying touchdown. Here's what he gives you. He gives you a vertical element to your offense that the other quarterback doesn't give you. Here's the problem with Plumlee. It's the national media has fallen in love with this kid because he's a great kid. He can play the piano. I don't know if y'all have heard. He plays baseball. I don't know if you heard. None of that makes him a great. None of that makes him a good quarterback.
He has a good chin dimple.
I mean, he's a great kid. He's got a 4.0. I get it. I get all of that stuff. I have no doubt that he comes from a phenomenal family and he's a great kid. Zero doubt on any of that. I hope Campbell and Caroline bring home boys like him. I do. I do, but that doesn't make him a great SEC quarterback.
Well, hey, they don't make boys like him in Arkansas and Mississippi State. All right.
They might not. I mean, and you know what? And the point is, and to your point, is that he's a pretty rare guy. I mean, you don't run into a lot of kids that are like him that also happen to be elite athletes. Most kids that are like him that have 4.0s and can play the piano and all that stuff, they can't chew gum and walk at the same time. I mean, so you know what I mean? I mean, I get it why the media loves him. I totally get it. And he's a hell of a runner. He's a hell of a runner, but these defensive coordinators are scheming against the run, and they're taking it away, and they're saying, hey, we understand how good of a runner you are. You're going to have to throw it, and he can't.
Well, the issue, I mean, they schemed the hell out of him tonight. I mean, you can't argue that. Nobody can argue that. They absolutely had a scheme set for him. He didn't get to the edge one time like he did in the LSU game.
Yeah.
Like he did, the Vanderbilt game, the Arkansas game. They were absolutely ready for him. And I give him credit for that.
Well, Mississippi State is good against the run. That's what they're good at defensively. And they took it away tonight.
When they have all their players playing,
right.
We're going to play.
Yeah, but they're good against the run. I mean, statistically, I could pull it up right now. I don't really feel like it. They're good against the run. They're god-awful against the pass. I mean, through 11 games, that's what they were.
Yeah, and it kind of is what it is at some point. But why do you get away from what you're doing? I know Plumlee was ineffective. He was highly ineffective at the beginning of the second half. It's just kind of frustrating to watch, and it's going to be frustrating to watch for a long time because obviously Corral is going to leave. Elijah Moore is going to leave too. Leg lifted or not, he's out. Period.
That's the rumor.
And
I haven't heard it to the consistency that I've heard the Corral stuff. I don't even think the Corral stuff's a rumor. I think as of this week, Corral had every intention to leave. I anticipate that he'll leave. I've heard different things about Elijah Moore. Here's the deal. If Elijah leaves, he has to sit a year, and sitting a year puts off his NFL career, assuming that there is one for a season. I don't know that it makes a ton of sense unless he's just miserable, and I don't know. We'll see. There's a very nice sweater you have there, Chase.
You like my sweater?
I do like your sweater.
I'm a little concerned right now that I'm watching some sort of football implosion while we're online.
Speaking of Corral, is that Coral? Your sweater?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time because literally so many calls are coming in that I can't get to the screen to do what I need to do.
There's one. You got somebody.
I'm trying.
I know you are. Who's this? Who do we have? Hey, Kaysen.
How are you guys doing tonight?
We're okay.
Ask me in a minute and 24 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of wanted, before I get started, first of all, feel free to tell me that I'm an idiot or anything. I respect you guys. I appreciate what y'all do. I'm a humongous anti-Matt Luke guy, and I really just think that tonight, how it ended, I'm actually not that upset about the game. We lost the turnover battle. We had the 4th and 26 that was just completely busted and lucky to convert. But as much as the celebration is on Elijah Moore, I think personally some of that plays into this reputation that Matt Luke has as a player's coach that I've heard and I obviously don't know as much as you guys, but that he just really just tries to be on the same level as the players and encourage them, that like that kind of thing lacks the discipline in a big moment like that. And I feel like that might have played into that celebration a little bit. I mean, it could have just got caught up in the moment, but just as an anti-Matt Luke guy, I definitely feel like that might have something to do with it.
It's the first time all season that I'm going to call out the coaching staff. It can't happen. It can't happen. It's a bad reflection on the program.
What do you do? I'm not really playing devil's advocate even as much as, I mean, like Jeffrey did say, it's not like he told him to do it.
No,
So
over the course of the season, you have to talk to people about, hey, there's a way that you got to be aware of the scoreboard. If you're Elijah Moore right there, something has to click in your head that says, hey, I can't do something here. We're going to overtime with an extra point.
And I think it's an individual decision. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, there's no way they didn't safeguard that to some extent. But at the end of the day, player makes play. I mean,
I get it.
It's a lot like had it been a face mask. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, nobody told him to grab the face mask. I mean,
but this is different than a face mask where it's in the heat of the action. He had to contemplate. He had to premeditate. I'm going to lift my leg. That tells you
what it does do. I mean, whether it's true or not, it does at least give you the thought of, hey, was that some sort of mindset because of what your future could look like?
Could be.
Where you're not invested? I don't know.
Could
be.
Maybe
maybe that's crazy, but that's the way it at least comes off to me.
Yeah.
Is, hey, maybe he is looking around. Maybe he is whatever. Maybe he isn't as invested as some of the other guys in the program would be.
No, that's a good point. I agree. Just one more thing for you guys before I let you guys go. Neal, any chance that Robbie Ashford is starting quarterback at any point next year if he makes it?
Oh, sure.
There's a chance there?
Sure, there's a chance. I mean, we've seen this staff on, help me here, Missouri, now Mississippi State. Was it Auburn? Did Corral play some against Auburn?
I don't remember.
We've seen on multiple, at least two occasions that come to my mind immediately where this staff had to turn to another quarterback because the running quarterback wasn't working.
Right. And Neal, I just wholeheartedly agree with you on the fact that the nation has absolutely fallen in love with John Rice Plumlee, the kid. and they've just been completely blinded to the fact that he struggles throwing 5-yard out routes on the run, and you just can't win at this level when you can't make those passes, and that's just simple as it is. So, well, hey guys, I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good night. Y'all get it in.
Who we got on the line?
This is Nathan in Madison, and I don't have a lot, guys. I want to kind of take a second and pretend to be other people, and y'all help me with the end game with this. What is the end game with the Glenn boys and certain people that just are in love with the Lukes? And this is good. This is a good season, and next year's going to be a great season at 3-9 or 1-11. And what's the end game, guys? Is the not going to a bowl and then get excited about a trip to Shreveport? Is that the end game with this?
It depends what thoughts you have. I look, and Neal can give an opinion here too. And I don't know. I'm not really sure which one this is. I do wonder a little bit if the money thing is just so tight and so whatever, and they don't have enough people to get it together, and they just simply don't have $16 million to do, or if that is a really believable, convenient thing for just a decision they don't want to make. And I think that's a huge question either way. And I don't know the answer. I'm not sure which way that goes. But I do think that at least has to be surfaced, because every other SEC school is paying big buyouts, at least trying to put money together for big buyouts in situations like this. I mean, Auburn says they can't pay $30 million, but that's almost twice what this is. Arkansas, which I know has a ton of money, they're handling whatever the Chad Morris deal is in year 2. A lot of this does come back to a contract that they simply are in a weird spot with. But I do wonder a little bit if it's also a very, very safe, convenient way for something they simply want to give more time to anyway. So I don't know. I mean, Neal, what do you think?
I don't know.
I mean, I can't believe anybody actually wants to lose at football. Nobody wants to lose at football. It's too damn important.
I don't know. I don't know. These guys are kind of proving that point, though. I mean,
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I was in Alabama when Alabama made the decision to hire Nick Saban. Alabama had to make a conscious decision that, you know what, we're not going to do it the way we've always done it. The Bear Bryant era is dead. It was a hell of a run, but we can't keep living off this dead guy. We've got to move on. I'm not convinced that the powers that be at Ole Miss think that way. I do believe okay, here's the hot take of the day. You ready? I do believe that the people at Ole Miss who are in control right now care a whole lot more about their access and their status and their seat at the country club table than they do about winning.
Define access. In what way?
Well, they can have any access they want because the stadium's going to be empty.
Decision making, being the big shot, being the head of the committee. We get all that crap. We got all that crap the whole time. Hey, Mike Glenn would never, ever be a part of a committee that would just rubber stamp something. He just did it. He just did it. Literally just did it. The hell he wouldn't. But they get to be the big people. And there's all these people around. You see them. They hang out at the 1810 grill, and they go to practice, and they just stick their tongue. They just kiss ass. This exact same people. Those people are not willing to bring in somebody who's going to say, hey, this is my program. I'm going to run it. Show up on Saturday. We'll win. You can enjoy it. Get the hell out.
Hey, one last thing, guys, and I'll hang up. You're Keith Carter. There's money on the sidelines. Y'all sell me on this going forward. Seriously, there's money on the sidelines. Y'all sell me on this. Sell me on this end of the season. Sell me on 4-8. Sell me on the future of Ole Miss football.
I can't.
Yeah, I seriously got nothing.
But when people do the whole thing about, these people that were on this committee, they would never be a part of a committee that was rubber stamped. They just did it. Give me a break. Of course they would. They're all busy filleting one another. Not literally, but figuratively.
Who we got on the line?
Maurice in Biloxi.
What's up, Maurice?
What's up, Maurice? Look at the Saints having some Thanksgiving turkey
Well,
right there on the field.
First off, I'll say I'm not pleased with this season at all. But Luke and Rich Rod called the plays to win the game tonight. They had it, and the players messed it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, were they not in the end zone with a chance to win at the end, or at least tie, or go for a win at the end?
They were. They went 4-8, 2-6. I just
don't understand.
As the great philosopher,
how you can put it on the coach. You know?
Well, I'm not putting it on the coach. I'm putting it on the.
Discipline's not on the head coach. It's on the position guys.
I'm putting on. Well, at the end of the day, the whole damn program's on the head coach.
Well, he called. Rich Rod, a guy he hired.
Wait, hold up. I'm not picking on you, but let's be real here. Does Nick Saban do everything in the Alabama program?
Well, I'll be real here. The brain drain is better than the hand raised guys. J.G. Tate,
does Nick Saban? Okay. The answer is Nick Saban doesn't do everything. It is at the end of the day, the bottom line, the head coach makes $3-point-something million. He's the head coach. Turn your device down. Who's this?
My take on this is, as a alum, middle-aged person, just sick of watching Ole Miss get in its own way. I think a lot of people my age, I'm right there with Parham, graduate mid early 2000s, just tired of watching Ole Miss get in its own way, man. And tonight's another representation. I agree with you, Neil. Tell me name any of the other 13 SEC teams where you see a player pee on the field after a touchdown and cost his team the game.
Here's the deal.
That is on the head coach. That is on the head coach.
Here's the
Nick
deal.
Saban
Ole Miss,
would never let that happen.
Ole Miss likes to take the high road in this Egg Bowl rivalry. And and tonight, I mean, there was some chirping both ways, but Mississippi State didn't do the whole unsportsmanlike conduct thing. At the end of the day, what will we remember? What will we remember this game for?
Yeah,
we'll remember this game for Elijah Moore lifting his leg. What will we remember last year's game for? We'll remember it for the big fight.
Yep.
Fairly or not, we'll remember it was Matt Corral having a fight in the end zone.
Yep. And that
I think it's safe to say that over the last 3 years, Ole Miss is guilty of playing this rivalry up bigger than Mississippi State does.
Yeah.
Ole Miss literally made a head coaching decision based off the 2017 Egg Bowl.
Yep. And I disagree with Jeffrey. Matt Luke certainly didn't tell him to piss on the field, but he definitely could have told him not to, or to get their head in the game and go out there and win the game. Like, that is the goal. There's no, just act like you've been there before and do what you're supposed to do. Catch the ball, walk off the field, not to do something like that.
You have to have scoreboard awareness right there. You have to know that your catch right there, which is a big catch at the end of a huge drive, makes you down 21-20, and you're an extra point away from tying the game and a 2-point conversion away from winning the game. The one thing you can't do in that moment, the one thing is get a penalty.
Nope.
And that's what he did. And again, the officials had no choice but to call that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I'll say it was a clean game otherwise. And, you know, I may not be representative of everyone my age, but there are plenty of people I talk to my age who even those who had tickets, were not interested in go. Most of us don't live in the state anymore. We're moved out of the state. We're going more and more, man, why am I driving spending a whole weekend driving long distances to watch this stuff. If there are 10 guys who want to control Ole Miss and the football program and the chancellor and all that stuff, we'll let them have it. The 10 of them can sit in Vaught Hemingway by themselves and watch this disaster every year, but we're not investing our time, energy, and money and even bringing our kids back there for this crap. So, excuse my language on your show.
You're more than good with that one.
Yeah. Hey, let's give some credit here because all season long I've criticized the officiating because it's been bad.
Yeah.
Tonight, I actually thought they called a really good game. Did they miss some calls?
So
sure. Yeah, you're going to miss calls. Did they miss some calls? They did. But late in the game, again, when it's so tempting to swallow the whistle, they blew the whistle and they got the calls right. On the road, and it was the right call. It was a hit to the quarterback's head. Mm-hmm. It was a pass interference that was close, but they got it right. And they called the unabated that had, it ended up being a touchdown pass. But
they've been doing that all year.
They did the right call. He was unabated to the quarterback. You made the right call to call it. Give the officials some credit. In a key moment with the game on the line on the road, they made the right calls, and the call on Elijah Moore is the right call.
It does make you wonder. Yeah, go ahead. Finish that.
If as a coaching decision too, we can look at what happened at the end there and say, well, Corral let him down the field and all that. But as much as these guys have been all in on Plumlee for the last several games, then when the game's on the line, all of a sudden you're not all in on Plumlee, and that to me is very condemning, I guess, of the current coaching staff. How can you say, okay, we are so in on this guy, we believe in this guy, and then when the game matters, it's on the line, you all of a sudden don't believe in him, and you put the guy back in that you seem to have lost faith in. And granted, he did leave that drive. He also threw a terrible pick, and the pass he did complete on the 4th and 26 was it was a
busted coverage. The safety went inside instead of out.
It was an underthrow. I think it's probably a touchdown if it's over his shoulder.
Yeah. So, let's not just act like Corral was, Lamar Jackson there leading them down the field or anything.
It wasn't. Miss.
So I have serious coaching issues there. Is why are you all in on Plumlee, and then when it matters, you're not all in on Plumlee, and then
I'm not all in on either one of them.
Yeah.
Let me be clear here. My stance on the quarterbacks all season.
Not you.
Yeah, my stance on the quarterbacks all season is I'm not in on either one of them. I wouldn't have run either one of them off. I would have figured out a way, I think, as a coach, to keep them both around so that we could go into another spring and into another season where I could see which one develops. They both do things well. They both do things poorly.
Yeah. I just don't understand speaking to Matt Luke. Okay, you guys believe in this guy, and then when it matters, you seem to not believe in this guy. So, I don't know, just confusing. Anyway, I'll hang up and let y'all get somebody else.
Yeah, that is two thoughts. One being, you go away from Plumlee there. You've spent so much time and so much capital to essentially shift the face of the program from Corral to Plumlee. And then you get into the second half when there's still drives available because it's completely different than, I guess, maybe against A&M or Auburn or somebody. Maybe it was Auburn. It's all running together. When Matt goes, hey, we had 2 drives left, so we could still run John Rice and run our offense because we just had to score on those 2 drives. Well, that was the same way it was here with State. You were just down 1 score. You still could run your offense. You still could do whatever you want to, and you went away from it again. And with the Elijah Moore thing, this is where it goes back on Matt and the staff and the whole deal is, what's that locker room really like? We've given Matt Luke a ton of credit for years about, hey, they play hard for him. They are always there, and they do. But I do wonder if some of this transfer portal stuff, when we're talking about Corral and rumors about Elijah Moore and team leaders, guys that have gone to Hoover and represented them and that kind of stuff, well, that's going to break stuff off into sects and different parts of that room. So I do wonder a little bit just exactly what that room is like for Ole Miss right now. I think that's a very valid question.
Oh, it's more than fair.
Who we got on the line?
I'm trying to find some player tweets that I'm hearing about.
Who's on the line?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Lee.
Lee, where are you at?
What's up?
Where are you at?
Hey, man. I'm Navarre, Florida. How was your Thanksgiving? No one's asked you yet. How was your Thanksgiving?
Got done a couple hours before the game today. It was lovely. It was fine. I'm like I said, I've stayed pretty much not pretty much, stayed sober all day. So which is probably something that I know that my cohort in the room can't say, and I'm pretty sure most people listening can't say.
I waited until 11:15 this morning to have a beer, so I don't want to hear it.
I went too far behind you. Grilling that brisket all day, smoking that brisket, you got to stay hydrated.
You do, because if you're going to watch that brisket carefully, you have to drink.
Yeah, so has the rest of the SEC figured out Plumlee, and we just bring in Corral like we're down 12, 2 minutes to go in the game, to use a basketball analogy, and we need you to knock down a handful of threes, and you haven't shot a shot in like maybe a game or two. Seems incredibly unfair to Corral in this whole thing. I just want to hear your thoughts on that, man. And the notion that Plumlee is a nationwide sensation, I don't think that's true, man. I'm an Ole Miss grad. I live in Florida. Nobody's talking about Ole Miss right now. Nobody's talking about anybody on Ole Miss. Maybe in the SEC circles, it's a good story, but nobody gives a crap outside of that, man. You guys talk about the Oxford bubble, but I think outside the Oxford bubble, no one's talking about that. I love him. I love to hear him play the piano. He's great. It's a fun story.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Corral. About Plumlee. The elite teams in the SEC are going to have the athletes to take away one dimension of any offense. And that's what you've seen. You've seen Texas A&M limit him, Auburn limit him for the most part, LSU limit him until the game was out of hand, Alabama limit him until the game was out of hand, Mississippi State take his feet away for the most part. It is what it is. To win in this league, listen, if all you had to do to win in this league was have a running quarterback, there would have been running quarterbacks before him who would have won. Name the last running quarterback who's won in this league.
Well, I think you're spot on, Neil, and I would hesitate to call Cam Newton a running quarterback. You
can't, though. But you can't. Cam Newton went number 1 overall in the draft. Here's the reality. The last running quarterback.
Manziel is probably your best
he could
example.
Throw. But the last running quarterback to have a modicum of success in this league was Nick Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Frankly, it's probably Dan Mullen State quarterbacks. Chris Ralph.
Yeah.
Nick Fitzgerald.
And all of those teams, what was the consistent thing with those teams? When they played an elite SEC team, they couldn't win. There wasn't enough.
Shut them down, yeah.
There wasn't enough there. And Dan Mullen, no matter what people think about him, is one hell of a football coach.
I think the frustrating thing for all Ole Miss fans right now is, how does Luke get a pass on this? How is no one asking the hard question? How do you bring in Matt Corral? Plumlee, if you're going with Plumlee, go with him. I don't know, man. I just feel like whether it's unfair, maybe fair is not the right word, but the kid has no rhythm. Just to bring him in midway through the third quarter, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I've never played a down of football in my life. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting a free pass, but yeah, you can't. Obviously people that are questioning it can't be the one to make any decisions either way. Look, fans are going to make this decision. As bad as this season was in the preseason trying to get tickets sold and get some of that stuff, other than a home schedule that I'm trying to think what's even there in that, there's not much. It's going to be worse. There is a cap on how bad season tickets are going to be, simply because there are a number of people that are just going to buy season tickets for either because they always do or to keep their priority levels.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I think you're getting close to that falling, whichever one that is.
So to me, the final chapter in this season is you rode this guy Corral for 3 or 4 games, and he was 2-2, 1-3, whatever it was. And then you rode Plumlee, but in the game that really probably mattered most, you brought the kid in who you sat on the bench for 5 games. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. And now he's going to transfer, more peas in the end zone. He's transferring. It's a bad look all around. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And, I've called him before and I said, I want to see Luke succeed. I don't think he's ready to be an SEC coach, but I'd love to see it be a great story. He's not an SEC head coach.
Yeah. Appreciate the call.
Sam Williams does have a tweet.
Okay.
I think the tweet has come down since then, but he was talking about Elijah Moore, and he says because he's a selfish player, he wants to look good for the camera, trying to be DK. I don't care. That was selfish and stupid.
And that was deleted, we think?
I think so.
Yeah, y'all are getting hit of what my headphones sound like all the time, by the way, when we're not on a call. I'm sure you can hear it in the stream.
Yeah, I've now been sent that from multiple people, so that was clearly a Sam Williams tweet.
Okay. Who's on the line?
Hey guys, it's Jarrett, and I'm from Gulfport, but I am in Butler County, Alabama, right now.
Where is Butler County, Alabama?
That's on the Mississippi side of Alabama.
Is it?
No, it's east of 65. It's Neil. You know where the Georgiana exit is, south of Montgomery? Around Greenville.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I generally know where that is. It's been a while. Thank God.
Yeah, I'm like 50 or 60 miles south of Greenville in like the middle of nowhere.
So what's up tonight?
We want to talk about our game, and then Chase. I was watching the Saints game and watching your face, man.
Yeah, I tuned out for about 5 minutes there. I don't know what y'all were doing here.
I did the same thing, dude.
Well, I had this weird sensation because I'm competitive. It was, hey, I don't need to lose the Saints game for sure, but hey, the Falcons getting inside the number wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. So I was kind of thinking, okay, get the touchdown, cut it to whatever that is, then don't get the next onside kick, and then we'll call it a day. But hey, it's all right.
Yeah. So the thing I want to talk about with our game is, so like Neil, you were talking earlier about Moore's undisciplined decision. I totally agree with you. The refs got the call right there. The undisciplined decision, and Chase, you said it earlier, and that's what I want to touch on, is it being a personal decision. And so it's something that, like, so in the military, we hit on this a lot, like people will, like, so somebody in a unit goes out and gets a DUI, like the commander will punish the whole unit because some dumbass went and got a DUI. And so to me, it's kind of like that, and then it's a personal decision. Like, I mean, is Matt supposed to be like, hey, Elijah, don't go pee in the end zone after you score this touchdown because that'll get us a penalty and put us in a bad shape? I mean, I think Matt Luke has a lot of criticisms, and I don't think that he's the right decision for, but I don't think that particular thing.
It's not directly Matt's fault. I think it's an indicative of more separation and individuality instead of all pulling in one direction than we typically have thought with this roster. That's what I think.
That's fair. I mean, because like I think Sam, the tweet Neil mentioned right before I called, hit the nail on the head. I mean, he got it. That's very, very true. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. So on the Saints, Chase, what are your thoughts on, so we've struggled the last couple of games, and I know they're division games. What do you make of the fact that we've had more than half our total yardage in penalties in the last 2 games?
We're gonna let you go, then I'll answer that, and we'll go into the call. Appreciate it calling again this week. You know, a lot of Saints fans are doing the really, really oversensitive thing of every call goes against them, and there have been a few that stick out that's the case.
One in particular.
Yeah. And look, I mean, even in the Rams game this year, I mean, had Cam Jordan, I think was with the touchdown was called back or whatever. So there are those situations. However, the Saints are one of the dumbest teams in the NFL from a penalty standpoint and doing things. I did not think anything was necessarily off kilter or out of bounds that was called for the most part tonight. They're dumb, and no, that's got to get cleaned up. It's got to get cleaned up quickly. They've still got San Francisco in the regular season. They've still got to try to fight for a bye, I guess potentially home field as well. And no, look, they're in it, but they're not perfect by any means. There's some issues there as this thing moves forward. I'm very interested in Baltimore, San Francisco on Sunday or Monday or whatever day that is.
I'm putting content up on the site in case you wonder what.
Who we got with us?
My name is Greg. I am from Dayton, Ohio.
Ohio's first one, I think, was. What's up, Greg?
Well, I have a question, or I have a couple questions. Main one is, as a fan base, we have celebrated DK's pee in the end zone. What's the difference between, other than the time on the clock, what was the difference between us celebrating DK and condemning Elijah? Not saying he should or shouldn't have done it. I'm just trying to figure out, because a lot of people on Twitter are just dragging Elijah for it.
Time of game and result of game.
Reality, one cost a team a chance to win a game and one didn't.
Okay. Well, because of this game, I don't know if y'all have seen the quote from Joe Moorhead by our good friend exiting the stadium, Tyler Horka.
No, what we got?
Saying, he said, "This is my team. This is my school. This is my program. You'll have to drag my Yankee ass out of here." Does that not scream Tommy Tuberville to you? Is that a good thing for us that he will keep his Yankee ass in Starkville?
It tells me that the deal with Rutgers isn't done, and that the buyout language isn't agreed to completely with Mississippi State, and he's going to keep his mouth shut until then.
As of now, he is the coach of Mississippi State.
He just went 6-6. He beat Ole Miss. He's
2-0 against Ole Miss.
He's 2-0 against Ole Miss. He's got some leverage, and he's going to wait and see what happens.
Do you think
the reporters
with
that
Carter,
reported that today weren't making that up?
Oh, wow. Well, do you think with Keith Carter, well, he has had the interim tag like Matt Luke has, same amount of time. He's seen everything. He's been here for years. Do you think, even though he was just hired a few weeks ago, do you think he has the capital behind him to even try to talk about getting Matt Luke, get his buyout paid and get us on a road to a different coach, or are we still in a wait and see mode for next year? Because I know after next year, for 100% sure, if Matt doesn't do anything good, he's gone. But do you think that's sped up now, especially because of tonight, because of how he was hired, because of Vitter 2 years ago?
No, not really. I'm appreciate the call. No, I really don't. I think that, as we said, I think Matt's back next year, barring something crazy that we're not expecting. I just do. I don't think that's even a question at this point. All right, caller, who we got?
Hello?
Yes. Who's on?
This is Derek.
Where are you calling from, Derek?
Inville, Mississippi.
All right. What's going on?
What's that?
What do you want to talk about? What you think?
Just talk about the Elijah Moore, Luke Logan thing, and Matt Luke. All the good stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just I don't understand why everybody is all over Elijah Moore right now. I mean, really the only inexcusable part of him is it cost us the chance to go for 2. I would surely like to believe that that's what Matt Luke would do, although you never know what he would do. Probably keep extra point from there and go into overtime and end up losing anyway. But that should be on Luke Logan. That man should hit a 35-yard extra point every day of the week. Okay? Again, what Elijah Moore did, inexcusable. The only reason because it cost us a chance to win the game right then and there. And that's it.
I'm not disputing that, but if you're Elijah Moore, you have to know that your kickers miss some kicks. You've got to be thinking right there that, hey, if I score, I got to get up and hand the ball to the official and get ready for a 2-point conversion or overtime.
Yes, and again, that is why that part is absolutely inexcusable. Only because of the 2-point conversion, not the extra point. If Matt Luke would have kicked an extra point, Keith Carter should have walked down on that field and fired him right then and there. That would have been absolutely ridiculous. However, they will go into next year with Matt Luke, and I've talked to my friends and everybody today. The absolute best thing for Ole Miss is for Matt Luke to succeed. We really need that to happen, right? I mean, I think he's the only one that will stay here and not take another job.
Let me stop you there. First of all, Matt Luke succeeding would absolutely be a good thing for Ole Miss, no question.
Yes.
The whole thing about the coach staying there. Understand something. Name a coach, any coach. Pick a coach, any coach, and make him the Ole Miss coach for a moment. Go for it.
Okay.
Name one.
Just anybody?
Yeah, name somebody.
Mike Norvell.
Okay, Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell becomes the head coach at Ole Miss. For Mike Norvell to let's see, what would be a place that Mike Norvell in a hypothetical world would leave Ole Miss to go to? Name a place, any place. I'm cool with it.
Texas. Let's just do Texas.
Okay,
Texas. Texas.
Texas.
Move ahead.
For Mike Norvell to leave Ole Miss and go to Texas, what does he have to do at Ole Miss?
He will go 10-2. A couple years, go to an Access Bowl, something like that.
So he's got to win.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Mike Norvell to win, what does he have to do at Ole Miss? To win at Ole Miss, what do you have to do at Ole Miss?
You have to recruit.
So you have to recruit,
and then you have to beat the likes of Auburn.
Okay, right. So you got to recruit. You got to recruit well enough to win well enough to impress Texas. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what you do when that happens is when he says, "Hey, I'm going to Texas for $8 million a year," you go to his house, you pack his bags, you help him. You pick up the stuff, you put it in the truck, and you say, "Hey, Mike, thanks so much for the time. We're a 10-2 program now," and you go hire the next Mike Norvell. You don't operate scared.
No, I 150% agree with you on that.
Keeping Matt Luke because he won't leave you is not a good reason. You keep Matt Luke because you believe. Hold up. You keep Matt Luke because you believe he's the best coach you have. You keep Matt Luke because he's the best coach you can get. You don't keep Matt Luke because he won't leave you. That is not a good reason.
110% agree.
Okay.
110%. No, I want to fire him tonight, but I know we're not. That's what I'm saying. I know we're not firing him, but going into next year and within the first month, we got Baylor, Auburn,
LSU,
Alabama,
and FCS.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's going to have a tough road to sled right there, and I fully expect him to be fired by then, but it would absolutely be in the best case for him to succeed. I just don't believe he could ever do it at Ole Miss because I don't believe in him as a coach.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you that that's not a reason to keep him. That's why I'm pissed that he's going to be our coach next year.
Yeah.
I'm getting a question, Chase, that I'm gonna address real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm being asked if I have an axe to grind against Mike Glenn, against Glenn Boyce.
On your phone?
Yes.
Oh, like not in this chat.
No. And my answer to that is no, I don't.
Don't people know you're actually on air right now?
Yeah. My issue with the chancellor search is that we've talked to people who were also candidates in the chancellor search. We know what happened, and what happened should not have happened. It was a sham. And people were misled, and it was the wrong way to conduct a chancellor search. And until I have an opportunity to talk to those people and ask those questions directly, I'm going to continue to refer to it.
If you just changed a few different things, I mean, you couldn't have got in there. You could have been the AD or something. Could have got some things done over the years.
I think it's safe to say that I will never be hired as the AD or as even the janitor at Ole Miss.
Chancellor search not going to go your way.
I think it's safe to say that I have no chance at ever.
You'd be a better AD than Chancellor.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I will never get employed by Ole Miss. I think that's safe to say.
In any capacity. You can't even get on a committee, you don't think.
I don't think I could.
You don't think you can get on a committee?
I don't think I could get on the janitorial committee.
Really?
I don't. I think I'm generally hated.
Generally hated.
Yes, as a rule.
Like summarily.
Yes.
Hated.
Summarily hated. Yes.
All right, who we got?
Who's this?
Caller.
Oh, yeah, it's Lace. Sorry.
Who's this?
I think this is Lace. Can you hear me?
Hey, Lee, what's up?
Okay, I think I'm asking the question that everybody wants to know. From you, Neil, how did Rustin Hyde do tonight? Do they play or is it tomorrow?
Rustin plays tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Rustin plays Zachary
So, really,
tomorrow, and Oxford plays Starkville tomorrow. It's a big night of high school football for the McCreadys.
Oh, fine. So the real question I have is this. This spring, do you think the university is going to do the Rebel Road Trip? Because if it does, if they do, it's going to just be terrible. It's going to be like going to a funeral. Are they going to trot out Boyce and Luke and all these guys, and people are just going to line up to buy tickets and go see them talk and try to give money to them? Because that's not going to happen.
My guess.
Appreciate the call. We'll talk about it. The static's getting in my ear a little bit. Appreciate the call.
My guess, if they do it, it won't be Boyce. It'll be Carter and Luke and Bianco and Kermit and all of that. I don't.
You clear Kermit's schedule to make sure he's available for
I don't think Boyce will be there. I think
you don't think Boyce is going to do the entire road trip?
No, I think he's going to be kind of busy.
He's busy leading.
I think he's going to be busy.
He's already spoken publicly now.
What's that?
He's already spoken publicly now.
Yeah, he has. He's
got the first time out of the way.
Yeah, but he hasn't gone out in public where it's not scripted.
Oh, you thought that was scripted?
Yeah.
I expect there to be a Rebel Road Trip in the spring. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. I mean, there have been every year. I don't mean they won't do those other meetings again. Whatever those the Q&A kind of deals. No, it was closed press conference, that kind of public.
Yeah.
There was media and some other people there.
Yeah.
It was a friendly environment.
You should drink.
I should drink.
You should.
I will fall asleep. I'm exhausted. We're getting Bianco jokes in the thread tonight. We're getting a little everything. I'm gonna hear this ringing.
I'll hear it in my sleep tonight.
I mean, it is awful. Who we got?
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Brian?
Brian Pettit.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Brian or Bryant?
It's Brian.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Yeah, I just want to ask y'all what y'all thought about end of the game. Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Hey.
what's up?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we got you. You're on.
Are you 100% sober or what?
About 50%. How's that?
What have you had?
A few beers and a few Jack Daniels. I don't know. You name it, I've had it.
You just Jack Daniels straight up, or did you mix something with it, or what'd you do?
Of course, I mixed something with it.
What'd you mix with
I'm
it?
not crazy. A little bit of Coke, a little bit of Sprite. You name me, I did it.
I was at my parents' house with my brothers tonight, and I just had a couple of bourbons straight, just nothing with it, just bourbon.
You want some cool points
Oh,
or something?
well.
Just tell us about that.
I'm just
Is that what
saying
it was?
I didn't mix it.
What wasn't Jack Daniels?
Well, you bet.
It was actually Breckenridge.
Well,
I really like a lot.
So what is the best whiskey that you'll put with Coke before it becomes ridiculous?
Blanton's.
You'll put Blanton's with Coke?
I like Blanton's with Coke. I really do.
Okay, well, why?
Now you're being the
It's
snob.
just it just nah. well, hell, it tastes better.
Well, okay.
People like what they like.
But we can find some cheaper weeded bourbons that are not nearly as as complex or
Like-
are good. And we
like
can throw them with
1,000
Coke.
of them, yes.
And it would be the exact same thing. Sorry, I'm being an asshole. Go ahead. Sorry. What's your question?
But it's not Blanton's. My question is, why would they? Down there toward the end, I just want to know what you think about Elijah Moore. What you? I know you heard this question a million times, but I haven't heard it. So, what do you think about what he did?
It was stupid. Can't do it.
It was the second dumbest thing tonight after putting Blanton's with Coke. That's
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
It's not my birthday yet.
It's coming up.
Yeah, I like a good pappy with Coke too. It's good. A little crushed ice too, just to get it right.
Little crushed ice, Coke, and Pappy.
Yeah. Oh God. What are you laughing at now?
I'm just laughing in general.
Who's on the line?
This is Nathan, originally from Faulkner, Mississippi, now in Akron, Ohio.
Two Ohio calls
Akron,
tonight.
Ohio. We know someone in Akron.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So
we do.
So I have. So here's a question for you: Has Mississippi State their athletic department? Is it head and shoulders above Ole Miss's athletic department at the moment?
Ooh, Chase leaves on that one. Is Mississippi State's athletic department head and shoulders above Ole Miss's athletics department? I don't know enough about it to completely say that. I mean, I think if you look at it objectively, the two basketball programs right now are pretty similar. Is that fair? They're both good. They're both winning. You might be able to give a slight edge to Ole Miss. If you look at the two baseball programs, they're about the same. Both winning, both would be considered successful programs. Mississippi State obviously is winning in women's basketball. Ole Miss isn't. I don't know that anyone really cares. Ole Miss has some success in softball that Mississippi State probably doesn't, and frankly, I don't know that anybody cares. And if you look at football, I guess Mississippi State has been more consistently mediocre than Ole Miss. Ole Miss has had some losing seasons here the last few years, in large part because of the NCAA investigation. I don't know. No, head and shoulders. No, maybe slightly, just based on the football success. I'll grant that, but that's about it.
Yeah, I guess head and shoulders is too strong. It just really hit me when I was thinking about it earlier today that this is going to be Mississippi State's 10th straight bowl appearance, but there's no single player on Ole Miss's current roster that's ever been to a bowl.
Yeah, well, there's no question that today, as of this very moment in time, that Mississippi State's football program is healthier than Ole Miss's. There's no way around that. From a scoreboard business standpoint, they're They just finished 6-6, 3-5 in the SEC, and they're going to a bowl game. Ole Miss just finished 4-8, 2-6 in the SEC, and they're not. I mean, the numbers are. I always quote the great philosopher Andy Kennedy that you are what the numbers say you are, and right now Ole Miss is a 4-8 program. Today, Ole Miss is a 4-8 program. Today, Mississippi State is a 6-6 program.
Well, with the direction of the program, how and with the lack of money, I greatly wonder whether it's not even going to be worse next year with even decreased ticket sales, decreased concession stand sales. That if the athletic department is cash strapped this year, is it really going to get any better?
Here's what tonight,
especially if they get out.
Here's what tonight did for Ole Miss, in my opinion, and your question's a good one. Here's what tonight did, in my opinion, is tonight took all the ambiguity out of next year. Next year's now it's winning time. You either win or you got to move on. The whole, hey, maybe if we go 5-7 and we play some close games, we can keep the coach around. That's out. The whole, maybe if we go 6-6 and, we finish with beating UConn and Arkansas and Mississippi State and whatever, we can keep the coach around. I think that's out. I think next year has to be a dramatic improvement or you have to move on.
Agreed.
Chase did go raid the liquor cabinet. You're exactly right.
Very small.
What'd you
pour.
get? Some Woodford?
A very, very small pour.
Is that what you got?
It's the Woodford Double Oak.
Yeah, it's a good drink.
Look, I don't know what you said or didn't say. I was obviously gone. Here's the difference. Actually came from my brother earlier today. We're talking about Thanksgiving. The difference between Ole Miss and State as an athletic department right now is that Ole Miss still can't figure out what its identity is. Still can't really figure out what its direction is. It's trying. I think probably made some good steps there in some ways, but can't really seem to get overall. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but the main idea, they're not pulling anywhere near the same direction. State, to their very last credit, no matter what, they go in the same damn direction. I mean, they try to take even Joe Moorhead here and fit him into a square hole. I mean, it is their identity that, by God, if you're with us, we are behind you.
Yeah.
Until it gets squirrely, or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, they're in, and that's something that Ole Miss has not been able to recreate whatsoever. I mean, that's the answer.
You need some Coke for that?
Yeah. It's a little. Slight pour of Sprite in it's what it is. Go ahead.
So do you think that Luke lost even more support by essentially changing the entire offense mid-season? That it reduces even more credibility and just the even less consistency that they've been a throw it around, good quarterbacks, good receivers offense for the last eight or so years, and now they've went to a glorified wing key from the shotgun offense, and it just seems like there's no consistency to that same point. Everything is just very sporadic and random. Whatever they could.
That's fair.
Do whatever they possibly think that could work. That's kind of what the end of the game seemed like. So, okay, Plumlee isn't working. Let's try Matt Corral right before the game ends. Why not? Let's see what happens. And it's just very aimless, very lost.
I mean, just 2-3 weeks ago, Rich Rodriguez said that they have 2 starting quarterbacks. A ridiculous comment, but it just tells you they're kind of all over the place. I don't know that they know what they are offensively.
If you don't know what you are offensively, then I mean you're nothing.
What is the recruiting message from an offensive standpoint?
Beats me.
What kind of receivers are you recruiting? Blocking receivers? What?
Wide receivers?
Who are you touting as your quarterback to these receivers?
I don't know.
Yeah, so does Robbie Ashford, assuming that he still signs with Ole Miss. Does he come in next year and replace Plumlee? Wouldn't think so. But,
based off what I've seen this season, I'm not willing to rule it out.
So it just, I guess as a fan base, you've made the point before that the entire fan base is just dying for any kind of consistency, is dying for any kind of message. Just be an SEC team, behave like an SEC institution. But it just feels every week after week after week, and that's what really lost me. It just feels like you said, there is no plan. There's no. They're going to do whatever they think at the moment, but there's no long-term vision.
Well, until tonight in the fourth quarter, I would have said that they'd made the decision. They had turned the offense over to John Rice Plumlee, and he was going to be the guy. But tonight, with the game that I know for a fact means more to the head coach than any other game on the line, he turned to Matt Corral.
So do you think there's possibly, and this is entirely speculation, but do you think maybe there's some disagreements between Luke and between an offensive coordinator, that possibly he finally stepped in and said, no, let's just go this route?
Here's the honest answer, and it's going to sound like a cop-out, okay? But it's honest. Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely speculative.
I think when Luke hired Rich Rodriguez, he gave him the keys to the offense. Here's the deal.
Well, that's another...
Plumlee's running wasn't working tonight. I don't have the final numbers in front of me. I'll pull them up. I don't think he did a lot. We normally kind of lead the podcast. We tell you the numbers. We didn't tonight because we knew people would be emotional. I'm pulling it up though.
Yeah, I didn't think we needed to do 12 minutes of.
No. We did the right thing
of that.
But I'm looking for it. I'll have it up here in a second. It's coming up now.
Is it?
Yep. Let's see. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, box score.
Appreciate the call while we're doing this. Well,
John Rice Plumlee tonight. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
18 carries, 34 yards. 1 touchdown. Jerry and Ely, 15 carries, 82 yards, a touchdown. Snoop Connor, 11 carries, 31 yards. Matt Corral, 3 carries, -8 yards. Corral was 6 of 12 passing, 124 yards, a touchdown and interception. Plumlee, 9 of 14 passing, 121, no TDs, no picks.
Yeah, Corral 10.3 yards per attempt, Plumlee 8.6. Corral obviously had the big gainer to Sanders.
Yeah.
Counts. And just, Plumlee 13 lost yards. Corral 9 lost yards.
They took Corral's feet away for the most part. They very clearly had a strategy of we're not going to let his feet beat us. And they didn't.
I mean, yeah. Caller, who's on?
This is Mark.
Hey, Mark.
How y'all doing tonight?
We're fine. What's going on?
You're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah.
Well, I got a bone to pick with Neal.
Okay.
Is Neal on?
I'm right here. Yeah.
You took a question earlier tonight off your cell phone, off your text phone. It was a very Glenn Boyce thing to do without facing anybody. What do you have to say about that?
What do you mean?
You took a question about the axe that you have to grind without the opportunity for anybody to ask a follow-up.
All right, well, ask the follow-up. Go ahead.
So y'all refer to it as Glenn, Ford, Chip. We refer to it as Sid Bobo. And everybody knows that you've got an agenda against whoever that person, people, or entity is. And so go ahead and talk about that agenda.
What do you mean the agenda? I don't have an agenda. The agenda is simply I know a couple of the people who were also candidates for the job. I know how that job search went down, and I think it was a very poor reflection on the University of Mississippi, a very poor reflection on the IHL, and then I think it was a complete sham.
But is there any way to take facts like that and spin it into anything other than an agenda?
It's not an agenda. It's facts. Are
I think you're confusing an agenda with facts.
Are you going to argue that Glenn Boyce's hiring by the IHL was legitimate? Are you let's play along? Are you going to say it was a legitimate hiring? Because if it were,
it depends on what your definition of legitimate is.
Okay,
Neil.
if it were, why did the IHL not say, hey, Glenn Boyce is the preferred candidate. We're going to bring him to Ole Miss, and we're going to put him through the song and dance that we would have put any other preferred candidate through, and we're going to let him meet with the university people, and we're going to let the faculty get to know him, and we're going to let him do all of those things, and then we're going to put it up for a formal vote. Why would you interview all the other people and then stop the interview process, call him, and say, hey, show up in 10 minutes, and we're going to offer you the job in an hour?
Well, I think that much is clear, though.
What it would tell me.
I find it surprising that you hadn't been able to see that.
Tell me, what is it?
It's very, very clearly because of your agenda.
My agenda is why they did that?
Tell me the influence you have on this school.
Tell me why they did that.
They did that. They did that so that you would be able to sit behind a microphone and say the unfounded things about them that you're able to say.
That literally makes no sense. Tell me why they did what they did. If they wanted to
I think you're
legitimize,
I think you're hitting it a little bit right here, right?
If they wanted to legitimize his,
what did they do that made any sense?
But I don't know whether are you being sarcastic right now, or are you being literal?
Yes, it's kind of hard to see. I'm being very sarcastic.
Okay,
and you're correct. It makes no sense.
I mean, it
makes no sense whatsoever.
That's the bottom line. That's why I'm going to stay on it. I mean, it's to me, it was. I'm trying to think of what the word is. It was
comical.
Yeah, it was comical. But except for the fact that there are a lot of people.
But if it didn't affect so many, you're right. It affects so many people in so many ways.
There are a lot of people who
that it becomes something other than comical.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who legitimately care about the University of Mississippi, right? There are a lot of people who legitimately care about Ole Miss. There are a lot of people who legitimately care about the health of the institution, who legitimately care about the future of the institution, who legitimately care about the leadership of the institution, who wonder why this happened the way that it happened, and no one has answered that question yet.
So I am a little bit curious about your opinion on one thing. So I mean, define them however you want. You like to call them Glenn Ford and Chip. We call them Sid Bobo. Other people call them other things. The people that are behind this, do they have Ole Miss best interest in heart, and they just don't know how to execute a plan, or
I don't know.
Something else?
I don't know. Those people won't talk publicly.
I hear you. Can I change the subject briefly?
Yeah.
Big game tomorrow night.
Which one?
Late tomorrow night. Y'all going to do hand raise, guys, after Oklahoma State tomorrow night?
No,
we're not a football school anymore, man. We're a basketball school.
Yeah,
we need to shift gears.
Both of my brothers are in town. We're doing
Appreciate the call. We'll hit this for a second.
Yeah, we're doing Thanksgiving tomorrow. I probably will not be in a position at 10:30 tomorrow night to do hand raise, guys.
You don't think so?
Probably not.
So y'all didn't have Thanksgiving today. You were just all in town today.
Everybody got to town today. We're doing Thanksgiving tomorrow because we knew there'd be a game today and this, and frankly, I didn't know what tomorrow might bring. It's a big game, though. Ole Miss, Oklahoma State. Big opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
Big opportunity for the Rebels.
It is an opportunity. Who's on the line?
Is it Egon?
Eon?
Egon.
Egon.
Egon. I got you.
Yeah.
been too busy hunting ghosts. I couldn't even go to the game yesterday in New York. But, like, granted, if any NFL team had a game lost because of undisciplinary action at the end, like, it falls on the head coach. This falls on the head coach. Like, no one has ever stepped up to the plate and been like, Matt Luke's obviously the guy that's going to lead us to the next level. I'm sorry, I'm watching The Godfather Part 2. Robert De Niro just showed up. He shot Don Fanucci because, like, he wasn't the guy that needs to keep going on.
Is Godfather Part 2 better than Godfather Part 1, in your opinion?
In my opinion, they just go together.
But I'm asking which one.
I
If
can't-
you had to watch one and you had to sit down, which one are you picking?
It's sacrilegious, but I do like Part 2 because of the old flashbacks.
Okay. There's no wrong answer. I was just curious.
Well, you know.
Because my take too,
like
that
the
even
sequel.
at Godfather Part 3, if it was not part of the trilogy and it was its own standalone movie, it would be seen as 20 points better than it currently is.
The flashbacks in Part 2, I think, are phenomenal with Robert De Niro. That's where I stand with that.
Okay. Sorry, I was just bored. Go ahead.
No, I am too. And I'm unfortunately ready to watch a basketball game tomorrow opposed to football tonight. That was the most prototypical Egg Bowl petty loss you could ever have. All the bullshit over leaving the trophy on the field and everything was just exemplified by we lost a football game because a receiver fake urinated in an end zone, and then our field goal kicker couldn't make the extra point.
That's the other thing it's done.
You can't write it up any better than that. It was just petty.
That's the other thing it's
And it
done is
just goes back to
officially
the
it's officially killing that topic, Neil, because there's no even reason to talk about that anymore. It's not even a factor. You know what I mean? Until there's some sort of regime change, that's over. There's no reason to even talk about leaving an egg anywhere or whatever. No, it's the biggest game of the year, no matter what records are right now for this program.
Yeah.
But we were more petty than, or as petty as they could ever be.
No,
so you can't even say anything about it. And,
Ole Miss was pettier, if that's a word, than State was tonight.
well, tonight, 100%, and it's embarrassing. And like I can't ever get that out of my brain, and that falls on the head coaching staff.
Oh yeah, at the end of the day, everything does. Sure. Like I said, we can talk about motivations, we can talk about reasonings, and I think it has more to do with potentially the locker room as anything else. And maybe it was just one player. I don't know. It's whatever. But no, at the end of the day, it does fall on the coaching staff. Period. No doubt.
Of course it does.
But you celebrate a touchdown any way you want, but a fake dog urination, that goes back to Mississippi State University and the Bulldogs.
Here's
that
what
goes way up the.
Here's the conclusion I have to draw. Right, is that he premeditated that he was going to do that, and he was not thinking about, okay, in this moment, that's not a good idea.
I mean, personally, I was pissed at DK 2 years ago. Personally, I was. Just because it made too big of a deal about a touchdown. You got, like, I've played sports. You got to let some things go. You be bigger. But to do it again and to lose a football game over it, yeah. Means they made all too big of a deal about it in the locker room all week.
Well, it tells me that in the locker room all week, the message that the coaches, I'm sure they tried to get it across, but they did not get it across, was, guys, play the game inside the whistle.
I think it means they made too big of a deal about a game all week.
Oh, it could very well be. Listen, Monday, I can't remember who said it to me. Someone said as soon as Matt Luke left the room, boy, he's locked in. You can
lock in on what?
The rivalry, I guess. I don't know. Look. Here's the thing. The last 3 seasons, this has been the most emotional game Ole Miss has played. Ole Miss people can talk all they want to talk about diminishing the Mississippi State rivalry. The actions speak louder than the words. The actions show that this rivalry means as much, if not more, to Ole Miss than it means to Mississippi State. Bottom line.
With the football program, I won't disagree. That's how they've acted. And I don't think that's a good thing.
It shows you too. It shows you too the representation of where Ole Miss is as a football program right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
there are a few aspirations that are realistic above this game, if you will. Because even in 14 and 15, there was a hostility, but a lot of that went with both teams being pretty good, and that there being national implications, and there being some big things on the line. And some of the NCAA stuff was starting to bleed over. It wasn't strictly because this game and this rivalry and you just have to beat this team. Even that had a different feel to it than this does.
Here's the thing. We haven't talked about this yet. Moving forward, I wrote the column that tonight's over. They went 4-8 instead of 5-7. Whatever, right? Next season matters, but where's the program today? Is it We talked about how they compete against 6 other programs. Where's the program today in comparison to Alabama? I'm asking you.
You're asking me.
I'm asking you. Where's the Ole Miss program today in comparison to the Alabama football program?
I mean, not on the same field.
Where's the Ole Miss program today in comparison to the Auburn football program?
Same.
Where's the Ole Miss program today in comparison to the Arkansas football program?
It's better.
Where's the Ole Miss program today in comparison to the LSU football program?
Not close.
Where's the Ole Miss program today in comparison to the Texas A&M football program?
Widening. Not in the same ballpark and widening in a negative way.
And then where's the Ole Miss program today in comparison to the Mississippi State football program?
Very similar, but a tick behind because you've lost 2 years in a row.
Those are the 6 questions that when you analyze the program that you ask.
I'm going to hang up, but I just want anyone to raise their hand. Does anyone honestly think Luke is going to do better next year where he will deserve 2021? I don't think anyone would honestly say.
I think he's got to go 7-5.
It's more but does anyone honestly think we're going to do that?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
It's more of a financial thing. Well, the buyouts will be lower next year.
Oh, it's a financial
for next year.
It's a financial thing, and it's more than that. Though, let's get real. Come on. He's one of us. We love him. He's a Mississippi guy. He loves Ole Miss. That's where we are right now with the program.
But who are the people that's saying that? I don't know him.
Glenn Boyce.
He's not an Ole Miss person.
I don't give a shit. He's the Ole Miss
person.
Wait, hold up. He's the Ole Miss chancellor.
Don't give me that. You know better than that.
He's the Ole Miss.
I'm too drunk to even get into it with that.
Are you too drunk to acknowledge that he's the chancellor at the University of Mississippi?
He technically has the title.
Is he the chancellor at
University?
Okay, so Chip Morgan. Chip Morgan loves Matt Luke. Ford died.
Do I think he has a lick of
okay, here's okay. Hold up.
Ford died.
Hold up. Stop. Do you think Chip Morgan and Ford Dye and Glenn Boyce honestly, in their heart of hearts, believe that Ole Miss is capable of winning an SEC championship? Not words, not the bullshit, not the rhetoric. Do you think those people really care about winning an SEC championship? Because I'm going to tell you my answer.
No.
Absolutely not. We're on the same page.
Look,
that is you just identified your problem.
I will out myself. I'm a physician. No ENT, ear, nose, and throat otolaryngologist has a clue about running universities.
It's not even about that.
Practicing physicians, but so they shouldn't even be on the IHL. They shouldn't be making hires for other universities, much less ours.
Agreed.
They shouldn't know anything about hiring someone for Alcorn State University.
But their dad was a lieutenant governor. That's the problem. Is Mississippi's so damn small.
It's a political appointment. That's all it is. They're appeasing politicalness. Like, no, it's infuriating for people who actually care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call.
Who we got on the line?
This is Drew from Madison, Delta Red 22. How's it going?
Hey, Drew, what's up?
Well, I gave myself a probationary period after I drunkenly professed that was my intent for intercourse with my wife. So I figured it was only fair. How's everything going with y'all?
Pretty good. I have questions, but I'm not going to ask them.
You're
Well, to be fair, Neil, I posted in the comments that I mistakenly asked her to watch this with me. For the
my
first hour
sweater
or
is
so.
not orange. It is not War Eagle.
It's coral.
It is not orange.
Coral.
It's a corral sweater.
Oh, it's
Corral sweater.
yeah.
It's true. Neil, she thinks you look like Bruce Willis. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that my phone sex line idea with you might have some success. Y'all don't remember we talked about this
Yeah. I don't think
eight games ago?
I don't think a Neil McCready's phone sex line would do all that well. I'm just going to be honest. I really don't.
I don't know. The 2% is getting closer to 10. I mean,
It
you're
is higher
growing
than 2.
exponentially.
It's higher than 4.
It's
Sorry.
more like 8 instead of 4, but I still don't think that it would be very profitable.
You could probably call it.
I don't
pink if you
know,
wanted to.
Neil. I don't know.
I swear.
This video platform has really changed the game for you. I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
Every girl that calls in seems to be very infatuated. So, hey, props to you, man.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I don't know that I agree,
Hey.
but cool.
Hey, how many high fives did you get to get that hat?
I got the hat as a result of a couple of referrals where I got a $100 gift certificate. So the hat's cool.
It seems unfair that you pay for. I mean, you talk to that many people and then you get referrals for it. It seems a little unfair and on steroids compared to the normal human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Life's not fair, Chase.
Amen to that. If only my 18-year-old self realized how true that statement was, Neil.
So I'm assuming we're not going to talk to your wife about her experiences with your questions tonight.
No, I let her go to bed.
You let her, huh?
She was asleep. Yeah, sorry, Chase.
Yeah, I bet.
I recognize the phrasing there. No, she went to sleep, and that's when I started calling. Although I will say I drunkenly called the wrong number for like 50 times.
Oh, I bet that
so
pissed
I didn't do
somebody
much
off.
better. Yeah, I wasn't real happy.
Nobody
Although,
answered. Never
I'm
got a
not so
voicemail.
No, so I obviously dialed a wrong number. But yeah, it was 665 instead of 662. So I don't even know what area code that is, to be fair. But whoever it was not going to be happy in the morning. Anyway, well, I don't even know what to say about the game. I guess my biggest thing, Neil and Chase, is like, have you ever seen an administration or just the university as a whole so maybe tone deaf to the alumni base? I mean, I know that there's some. I mean, I have a friend who was fortunate enough to marry into one of these good old boy families. I mean, like, going to be set for life. Good for him. But, like, I mean, it's like these people have so much influence and just they totally ignore the writing on the wall. And it's not so much that I don't think Matt Luke has done some good things from just, like, building a program. But I'm really – after this season, I just am really doubting what's going to happen next year, you know? And, Neil, I meant to ask you, what kind of Pinot Noir are you drinking tonight? What you got?
Noir.
This is a 2017 California Cycles Gladiator. It's a very sophisticated bottle.
I'm going to look for it.
Very
I'm sure it is.
sophisticated bottle.
Oh, Chase, before y'all cut me off, I meant to ask you, have you ever heard of Very Old Barton bourbon?
Yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago on either the podcast or one of these things. I don't know. There's a microphone in front of me a lot. Yeah, it's made.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. Isn't that made by Willett? Am I wrong there?
I think so. No, I think you're right. The reason I ask is I have a buddy who does is like a taster for the Pappy folks.
Okay.
And he was telling me about how, like, just one night, him and some of the other tasters were like, he was going to do a blind tasting. And a lot of them picked the Barton bottle. And I went and bought, like, it's $20 for, like, a triple bottle, which is great for me.
Yeah, it's not bad at all for its price point. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I think so, too. I'm glad to know I'm not crazy because, like, I mean, who knows? Neil, you and I talked about how in my stage of life I'm very limited what I can actually get. So, anyway. Well, guys, appreciate you taking my call so I can go to sleep tonight. I'll tell my wife that Neil appreciated the compliments and look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Yeah, tell her we missed her. Appreciate it.
Tell her we said hello.
Okay. I hit the button to answer and they hung up. Whoa. Who we got on the call?
Hey, Neil, Chase, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
We're good. Who's this?
This is Joe.
Hey, Joe. He disappeared?
Yeah. I'm going to give him a second and see if he calls back. I think I know the number.
Yeah. We're kind of pushing the bewitching hour, I guess.
Are we?
We still have a lot of people online, though. Our number's still good.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
This person's not calling back yet. You want me to just take one of these instead?
Absolutely.
You're just getting tired of hearing it in your ear, aren't you?
It does hurt.
Turn your device down, please.
I worry that I won't be able to sleep tonight because I'll hear that sound.
Bull.
Who are we talking to?
Bull.
Hey, Bull.
Can you turn your something down?
We're down here at D-Lo, Mississippi.
Where's that?
Oh, we're just right outside of Mendenhall.
Okay.
But, how long are the Rebel fans going to put up with this mediocrity?
Real quick, what have you been imbibing tonight?
Yeah, because you've been drinking something a lot.
No, we just got off deep in some whiskey.
What kind of whiskey?
Yeah, what kind of whiskey?
We've already been over this a couple times tonight.
Oh, a little blank?
With Coke?
No, neither.
All right, just curious. Go ahead.
We've the basketball team, that's all we've been looking forward to. And how long have the football fans got to put up with this mediocrity?
I don't know. It's a good question. Should be a very obvious question that we should have kind of a default answer for. I know, but look, I don't think that's an answerable question right now, and I'm not really trying to even dodge it. But next season, I think Neil's right. I think they've got to go 7-5 to avoid anything. I mean, just because 6-6, I think only works next year if you play really well in some of those games and you lose them, and then you go on a run the rest of the time. That's the only optically way it works, because even if you win a couple of those, that means you're losing to worse teams later, and that's not good. So the only way in theory that 6-6 would work.
If you go 6-6, I'll kiss your ass.
Well, now here's the problem. Here you can get to 6 with Vandy State, Arkansas, Connecticut, Georgia Southern, and an FCS team. Tell me what you've really done.
Yeah.
I mean, now look, Ole Miss doesn't go win in Nashville every time.
So let's get on the record here. If they win those 6 games, you're willing to
I'm not
kiss Chase's rear end?
I think he had
I'm not.
I think he had a lot of Blantons.
Yeah.
Like an extremely good bit of Blantons.
I think they have to win 7 games next year. I think they have to have a signature win next season.
So they got to win those 6 plus beat somebody else.
Got to beat somebody where we all are like, wow, they beat them.
Who's on the line?
It really took you long enough to talk to me.
Oh, it's my brother.
What's up, Dylan?
How many times have you called?
Well, at this point, my not even my roommate anymore, Colin,
Yeah.
just kept constantly pressing the call button, and he's been just honestly going at it for about half an hour, and now he finally decided to answer me.
That's what she said.
I think he called about 200 times. Obviously, y'all have a very popular line going on.
Yeah, but say I didn't even answer your number, so.
I mean, obviously, that's how terrible of a brother you are. You won't even let me vent when I'm upset.
Are you upset?
I mean, I was upset because it made absolutely no sense that they brought in Corral with 5 minutes left, even if you think Corral's the better quarterback, considering you let Plumlee just go the entire year. It made absolutely no sense.
Okay,
hold on. The last
hold up.
Because Corral cannot.
Can I back you up a minute? Because I think you're onto something. Seriously, because I know you know football really well. What did you think? Take a step back from the hyperbole for a minute. What did you think when you saw Corral come in and you figured out that this isn't because Plumlee's hurt? They're bringing in Corral because they think he gives us the best chance to win the game here. What were your thoughts?
I mean, it doesn't make any sense in terms of a program move because you've made the decision all year to go with Plumlee, like 9 games or whatever it is, and now all of a sudden you completely go against that and put in Corral. Like, I don't understand how that can be defended on any level. Like, it's not even that. I don't think Corral is a good quarterback, but I think that Corral is better than Plumlee, obviously. And all of a sudden you completely go against what you've gone all year. And I mean, it makes no logical sense that you would do that. Like that, I don't like. No matter what, if you think Luke's the guy, if Luke's not the guy, that is an indefensible decision to think that with 5 minutes to go in the rivalry game of the biggest game of the year, you make the change to Corral for really no real reason.
See, to me, Dylan, you're onto something because this is what people ask me, and it's a legitimate question, right? People say, hey, Neal, before the season, you said 5-7, 4-8 was possible. You said this was a bill-paying season. You said that this season could easily go badly, and I did. And then they say, so why are you being critical? And it's a legitimate question. And my answer is because I thought going into the season, you were going with this redshirt freshman quarterback that you really liked, and you were willing to live with his growing pains. And somewhere in the middle of the season, when he got hurt, you went away from that plan, you deviated, you completely went another route, and now at the end of the season, in the final couple of drives of the rivalry game at the end of the year, you go back to the first guy, and it tells me that you don't have any effing idea which direction you're going with your team, with your offense, with your program, and it tells me you're not ready for this.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I ever thought because I don't understand how you can do that. Like, I thought Corral against Memphis was the worst I've pretty much ever seen Ole Miss play quarterback. It was awful. But, I mean, he was a freshman. So, I mean, you had to kind of expect that might happen. And instead of, like, sticking with him, and while I don't think Corral is a good quarterback, I think he has obvious arm talent and there's upside there. But instead of, like, letting him fail, they just totally went away from him. And then instead of, like, I don't understand how you can go back to him at the end of the season when it seems pretty obvious he's going to transfer. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's my thing. So tonight would have been an example. If this is a developmental year, if this is a year that you pay your bills, if this is the year that you pay your dues, tonight would have been the night. It was 21-14, am I right? Tonight would have been the night to stick with Plumlee, and even if it doesn't work, you go into the offseason with, hey, this was a tough love, tough learning experience, but you're the guy, and the next time we're going to get those guys, right?
I mean, honestly, this was the best game Plumlee's played all year. Like, some of those throws in the first half, I hadn't seen him made all year. Like, he actually put throws on, like, online with zip and stuff.
And some of it's because they actually schemed him to let him play quarterback and not constantly roll him out to one side, give him one read, and then have to take off if Elijah Moore wasn't open. There was actually some movement there. Go ahead.
I mean, I just don't understand how you can go back to Corral, because it's not like Plumlee was being aggressively bad or anything. He was being what he's been all year, and then all of a sudden you go back to what you've decided for some reason. Like, if Corral doesn't get hurt in the Cal game with the rib injury, Plumlee never plays at all. It's the weird thing. I don't understand how, the decision making of the coaching staff makes no sense to me.
Well, if you really believe Rodriguez, and I mean, this is probably debatable, the play call even put Plumlee in against Cal. Do they potentially play Tisdale if it's something else, and then you don't see Plumlee that game either? I mean, it just
had Corral gotten hurt in the second quarter, would you have gone to Tisdale right there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I don't know the answer to that, because it feels like from a program standpoint, putting Corral in borrowed trouble.
Let me interrupt both of you for a minute.
Yeah.
Eric Hutto in the chat says he was hurt. I assume he's referring to Plumlee.
Right.
My understanding is, according to the post game, is that the coaches said that Plumlee was not hurt.
Yeah, Brian Rippey told us that he said in the post game he wasn't hurt. That's all we have to go on at this point, but I did get that text from Brian.
I mean, I don't. What could possibly be the thought process of making a quarterback change? Like, because there was 5 minutes left. Like, I understand if there was like a minute left. Obviously, Corral is a better passer than Plumlee. He can help lead you a drive when you have to pass it. But when they put Corral in first, if Plumlee's not hurt, there was I think there's 5.5 minutes left. Why would you possibly do that?
Oh, it changes the whole tenor of the offseason in some ways. It took you away from, at least when you had Plumlee in, I felt like, hey, it's a set decision and you made a decision. And now you're just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So, anything else?
Nah, I agree. Thank you for letting me rant, even if it did take my roommate calling you 200 times.
Appreciate the efforts. No, I think those are all fairly very valid points. I have no major issue there. Turn your device down, please. Who are we talking to?
This is Steve from Anchorage.
Alaska?
Yes.
What's the weather there?
Cold.
How cold?
About 13 last I looked.
What's that like? Is it dark all day the way they say it is?
The sun comes up usually around 10:30 in the morning, and it's down by 4. And
wow.
It's never fully up. It's more like a sunset.
So what's the culture like there? Is everybody just drunk all the time? I mean, how do people live in that environment? How do they adapt to it?
Same way you adapt to anything. You hang out with friends. I will say that most people in Alaska do not care about the lower 48. It is not their deal. Newspapers up here, very little NFL coverage.
What's on the sports page in Alaska?
Dog races, a lot of them.
Really?
High school basketball, huge. Stuff like that.
Okay, just curious.
Come up and I'll let you. We can go play golf around midnight sometime in the summer.
Well, I think I do know there are the places that do that. I do think that'd be pretty neat. That is something that I've heard about in different places.
Yeah, you can easily, people go crazy when the sun's up all day.
Oh, it screws with your clock a little bit?
Yeah, especially in the first couple of years you're up here. You have a tendency not to go to bed.
What do you do occupationally?
I'm a pollster.
A what?
I run a polling agency.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, anyway, what I called about.
Yeah.
I don't think y'all are asking one of the things we say in my business is you don't make decisions based on facts. facts are what you use to justify decisions.
Okay.
Now, with the chancellor, let me just ask you a couple questions real quick. Of the groups that are protesting, according to the Princeton Review, and I believe Princeton is accredited, Ole Miss is the 19th most conservative university in the country as far as the student body is concerned, and I believe their alumni are a little bit rated higher than that. Of the groups that are protesting the chancellor, which one of them represents the most conservative group? None of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, my question is, okay, well, go back to what people don't make decisions based on facts. Nobody does. You don't, I don't, we all don't. We use facts to justify. I think that the reason that the chancellor was hired, and I don't know, my kids don't go to Ole Miss, nor will they ever. I think the chancellor was hired to, and I think they did it the way they did it, to send a message to the people that were in control, in power. Because Ole Miss is a left-wing radical university as far as the administration is concerned. And I think people kind of got tired of it.
Well, Ole Miss is not left-wing and radical in any way whatsoever compared to other.
The faculty is.
No, it's not. There's a couple faculty members, but overall, not even a little bit. Nah. What Ole Miss has done is, I mean, and look, whatever, but like JT Thomas has gotten in everybody's heads way too much. That is not representative as a majority of the faculty at all.
Well, I'll tell you this. I haven't been to a game in years, but I have friends that go every Saturday, or did up until a few years ago. When you start having stuff like the homecoming king, and you start taking away, whether you support the flag or not, or you support the statue or not, a majority of the alumni do. And when you start taking stuff like that away, people get ticked.
Hey,
and they say, well, this ain't my university anymore.
What's the temperature in Anchorage right now?
About 12, 13.
Yeah, Siri says it's 33 right now in Anchorage.
Well,
so we're going to let you go.
Feel like you didn't buy that one.
Siri and Siri and I have a great relationship. She told me it's 33.
You're going to believe her?
I'm going to believe Siri. Because watch this. Siri knows everything.
Okay.
Hey, Siri, what is the temperature in Bangkok right now?
It's about 89 degrees in Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay. You got anything else you want to?
No, I'm good.
Hey, Siri, what is the temperature in Bangladesh right now?
Just a sec. It's about 84 degrees in Dhaka, Bangladesh.
She's a genius.
Who are we talking to?
Siri.
No, on the line.
It's Robert in Dallas.
Oh,
hey,
Rob,
Robert,
how are you?
Dallas, how are you?
I'm better than I deserve. How are you guys?
We're hanging in because it's after midnight.
I'm great.
Neil's getting a little intoxicated. I've had a lot of water.
One
I'm very
night
hydrated.
In Bangkok makes the world
So
your oyster.
Y'all have been talking about how 7-5 is kind of the point of no return next year. My question is, if the powers that be that have orchestrated all these things over the last really couple of months aren't, it's not that they're not willing to make a change now, but they've also kind of drawn a line in the sand of where they're going. So why would they make a change next year?
Well, I mean, at some point, if things don't improve, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose everybody. And look, you can get them back, and it's easier to get them back in college than it is other places because of the emotional connections. But it takes a little bit. Discretionary income does not automatically go to attending sporting events anymore, even like it did 5 or 10 years ago, because that's the negative with the SEC Network. So when you give these people a reason to not go to the games and they start enjoying their Saturday a little bit and they start not having to come up and fight the traffic and find the restaurants and all that stuff, it's not always easy. So anything you can do to increase attendance and to keep that at some kind of manageable level, frankly, if you don't do that, you're in you're in pretty rough shape.
But haven't they already reached that point this year, though? I mean,
it can get
the
worse.
attendance is down big time.
It can get worse.
What was the average attendance this year at home? 35,000?
I think even on the books it was 40 something, but that was the lowest since 2001, and that was announced, not actual.
Right. So actual is probably 30, 35, right?
I'll buy that. Sure.
I mean, it can't get much worse, can it?
Well, yeah. Look at some of these places.
Wow.
I think there's still. I think there's still 10,000 season tickets that are discretionary.
Wow.
In the words
That's
of
my guess.
AC/DC, money talks.
Well, it used to be at Ole Miss, going 4-8 was not acceptable, and to me, it's surprising. I know the NCAA thing, but at some point, you got to move on. And 4-8 should not be acceptable. It's not just about this one game. There's no offensive identity. There's no recruiting. There's no plan. There's no structure. There's no. They just seem to be kind of lost in the wilderness, as to use old Freeze term, and that wilderness has been. The trees keep growing taller.
You got a ton of buyouts, and somebody's got to pay it. I mean, it's not monopoly money. You got to find it somewhere. And on the other side, though, that is the question: is if you may not have the money to pay it, you might not have the donors to put the money together to pay it. But then on the other side of it too, if you don't pay it, what is the net loss for next year versus that? And I don't know. I don't handle the books,
what's the
but you know what I
break-even
mean.
point?
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
are you losing money by not finding the money? Is my question. And I don't know.
So do you guys think that most of take out the major power players, but do you think most of the Ole Miss stakeholders feel like that break-even point is next year, or have we kind of already crossed it? I tend to believe the latter.
I think going into tonight, the general feeling was the major power players would love to keep Matt Luke to 2021 and beyond, but to do it, there had to be a show of progress. My guess is after tonight, gauging the public opinion on what happened tonight, he's got to win 7 games to keep his job.
I would love for that to be right. At Ole Miss, gauging public opinion, as you guys know, and that's part of the reason why I love listening to you guys, public opinion very rarely sways Ole Miss, or at least in the 20 years I've been following the university.
You're right, but money, like Chase said a minute ago, money is going to determine so much of this. And the truth is, the money is not on Luke's side right now.
No, the contract is on Matt's side right now.
Yeah, how many tickets can you sell? How many? What's going to happen if? What's going to happen if you start slowly next year? Again, it's Baylor, Auburn, LSU, Alabama, and Florida in the first 7 games. If you lose all 5 of those games, what's left in terms of support in the final month and a half of the season? My guess is not much. And if that's the case,
so what would be
you have to move on.
What would be the challenge in not rolling him over?
Oh, look, they're going to roll over the state portion of his contract. They're not going to roll over the foundation portion of his contract. And the foundation of the portion of the contract is the most lucrative part. The state part is just so he can say, hey.
Yeah, the foundation portion is still going to be at 4 years. So, you're still paying 4 years worth of buyouts after this year.
Got it.
He's technically in his second of a 6-year deal.
Do y'all think that the next coach or the next coaching contract is much more incentive based rather than base pay? I don't know, $250 for a SEC win, that kind of deal.
Depends on who it is.
Yeah, I mean,
all right. I appreciate this.
Yeah, that depends on kind of who you're having to go out and get. And I'll get to this call in a second. But I mean, look at the schedule next year from an attendance standpoint. Baylor's in Houston, say whatever. Then you got your FCS game. They play Southeast Missouri, the Redhawks.
And the results of the Baylor game will
dictate that a little bit. But it's the opener. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Sure.
It won't look like 2013 opener, but it'll be fine.
If you say so.
Okay. Auburn's up next. Alabama's up next. So you get a couple steroid shots there from opposing fans.
Because they bring a bunch of people.
Yeah, sure. You go to Vanderbilt. Come back home and you play Florida.
They don't travel.
No, Florida doesn't travel at all. That feels like the game they have to win. Does it not?
Dude, you just got to win one or two of those games, period.
That's my point. But Auburn and Florida are the two that I look at and go, well, I mean, I guess in a perfect world, maybe.
I mean, I think got to beat Baylor.
But well, here's my point, though. If you don't, and this is kind of what I'm getting to. And now we talked a lot about this year, and I mean, optically it didn't matter because of a lot of different factors from an attendance standpoint. And frankly, the Mexico State game had a few more people there than I thought they were going to be. They showed up a little more.
Yeah.
If you're 2 and whatever, if you are, who knows?
2 and 5.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
You know what your remaining home games are?
Connecticut,
Georgia Southern, and Mississippi State. So, Connecticut, Georgia Southern, and a Thanksgiving night game.
Bad. So I tell you, at 2 and 5, you can't survive.
The back half of what is a dang good home schedule next year. Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Really good home schedule.
Yeah.
But, man.
Just lost to Mississippi State for the second year in a row.
Oh, I know. I mean,
they went 4-8, 2-6 in the SEC. Those are the final numbers. There's no spinning it.
Who are we talking to?
Gentlemen. Hey, gentlemen. It's Branks in Madison again.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're great.
Good. One last cheers for the football season, if y'all don't mind.
Sure.
Chase, do you have anything but water, or are you still drinking water?
No, I still have one.
All right. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Just a quick cheers. Neil,
Yeah,
get your Pinot Noir.
Noir.
Cheers.
I know. I don't want to do it
What
either.
are you drinking?
Trust me, I don't want to do it either. I am drinking Makers with nothing in it but just straight Makers.
Okay.
So it's late. I'm tired. I'm tired of my family. I'm tired of Thanksgiving. I'm tired of Ole Miss football.
Yeah.
I'm tired of life. I think y'all can all agree on that. It's basketball season. Let's move on.
How Thanksgiving go today?
That was good. I had a good time. I'm married to a state girl. I had to spend Thanksgiving with my state in-laws. So they celebrated. They were very happy. In a way, they were actually not happy. I'll take that back. They were actually hoping for a loss to quickly expedite their coaching change. I don't think it really matters.
Do you have like a standing?
Earlier, do
you have like a? And I don't want to get into your personal business, but it is 12.
No, I want you. I want you get deep. Neil.
It's
Let's get deep on my personal
12:17
business.
a.m. on Friday, Black
Yep.
Friday. Do you have like a standing bet with your wife on the Egg Bowl? Where, I mean, if we're honest, everyone wins.
Okay, so that's a great question.
Thank you.
This is what I'll tell you about my wife. My wife didn't know that Mississippi State played football until 2014 when they were actually good at football. And she could finally tell me that they were good at football, and we beat them that year, if you remember. And so I haven't had to deal with much of my wife being a State fan, to be honest with you. My brother-in-law, however, is a big State fan, and I deal with him a lot. And tonight was a tough night.
You're not answering my question. I don't care about your brother-in-law. Do you and your wife have a standing bet on the Egg Bowl where everyone wins?
Okay, no, we don't, because I'm alone at 12:17 with you two assholes, and she's asleep in bed.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Well, that's your fault. That sounds
that's
like
my-
a
that
you
is
problem
100%
and
my
not
fault.
an us problem.
1,000,000% my problem, and I thank you all for bringing that out. And this is therapy, and I appreciate it.
I'm glad to help.
Here's question number one. Question number one. In 2 years of Matt Luke at Start Bowl, we've had two players fake piss in the end zone.
Yes.
Do we think that's something that's going to continue, or can we probably squelch
I would
that
think
going
this
forward?
this hopefully closes the book on that. I would.
One would think.
Good deal.
That's the goal.
That's 100%. Okay, good deal. Second question. So in 2017, as we know, we fired our head coach for a myriad of reasons, NCAA related, massage related, all those things considered, and we retained Matt Luke as our head coach.
Yeah.
And the idea at the time was to weather the storm and mitigate our possible issues with other, whatever you want to call it. Do we feel like in the 3 years we've had Matt Luke as a head coach, we've done our job as weathering the storm, or do we feel like we're behind the 8 ball, or are we ahead of the 8 ball as far as those things are considered, in y'all's opinion?
I think you've weathered the storm. I think Luke's done a good job stabilizing the program. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then after that, is Matt Luke the guy to take you to the next level? Right now it doesn't look like it. He's got 7 games at the beginning of next season, 5 that we've talked about a lot: Baylor, Auburn, LSU, Alabama, Florida. He's gonna have to win one or two of those, or else it's over. My opinion.
What is the likelihood that Keith or the administration makes the decision early next year to actually do something different if things don't go the way that everybody hopes they do in those first few games? Or do we wait the year out, or do they make a change? How does that work?
I'm not I'm not a fan of the whole interim thing. I think you let.
I think you're getting dangerous, especially with a schedule like next year.
Yeah,
where you run the
great
risk because there are winnable games toward the end of that schedule, even if it's an average football team.
You make Chase Parham the interim coach,
and what if I go 4-1?
And then he beats Georgia Southern, and he beats Connecticut, and he wins
State
in Fayetteville, and he beats Mississippi State, and all of a sudden the old men who hang out at the 1810 club who just sniff jocks and will do anything they can for access. Go, oh God, Chase, you've won 4 in a row. You're the best thing's ever happened to Ole Miss since John Vault. All of a sudden, Chase Parham's the head coach at Ole Miss. No, you let Luke finish the season. You go into the season with a paradigm that has to be met. If it's not met, you move forward.
I think we all agree on that. That's what I wanted to hear. Y'all have a good night, good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time off, and looking forward to basketball season.
Appreciate it, Brinks.
You'd be a shitty head coach, by the way.
I would not be good at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it at all.
I'd be a better chancellor than I would head coach.
You would, yeah. Your practices would last like 10 minutes.
Like, yeah, it's good. It's fine. It's all good. Going to take some mental reps today is what we're going to do.
Hey, guys, think about practice. Go home.
Who are we talking to? Who's on the line?
Hey, guys. This is Jay Reezy, 23. First time, long time.
What's up?
What's up?
Oh, not much.
Other than it's 12:23 on Thanksgiving and you're talking to us.
It's Black Friday.
It is Black Friday. Yep. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's been a Black Thursday too. Got a few things. Let's pull the football gods. If the roster looks how you'd expect it next year with Corral gone and Plumlee being the guy, what's the record?
Ooh, hey, football gods, come on down. They have descended.
They're transparent.
They have descended from football god heaven.
Are they translucent?
They're translucent. You can't see them, but they're in the room. Well,
translucent means you can at least see outlines.
Well, they're gorgeous.
Okay.
What is the record?
With Plumlee at quarterback, but everything else as expected.
Do they win any of the 5 games that we've been talking about incessantly? Baylor, Auburn,
and look,
LSU,
we're really
Alabama,
talking
Florida.
about they're not beating Alabama, so we're really talking about 4.
Okay. Do it however you want to do it.
You know what I mean, though. I mean,
yeah,
I know we keep throwing it in.
Do it
but
however you want to do it. Of those 5 games, do they win any of them?
Well, no, they've shown nothing for me to predict that to this point.
Someone says I'm actually like free summoning the football gods.
I mean, yeah, look, I guess they could win one. I mean, sure. But, I mean, they haven't done that yet. That's the thing.
Okay.
And I don't know because I don't know what
So are you saying 0-5 in those games?
I am fascinated by Plumlee's offseason. Fascinated by it. As much as I have by anything.
I'm not. I think I know.
I think he can get better.
Okay.
Great, I don't know. But better, sure.
Okay. So
he is a
how
true
many
freshman.
of those 5 games would you predict that they would win?
0 or 1. I don't know.
Well, tell me.
Well, pick one. I don't know what the quarterback is going to look like.
I'm going 0.
Okay, fine.
You want to go 1?
Whatever. Either way,
All right.
sure.
You think they'll beat? Who's
think you can stumble into
They
something.
beat
Sure.
Southeast Missouri.
Yeah.
Do they win at Vanderbilt?
Sure.
Okay, so you've got
Vanderbilt's awful.
You've got them at 3 and 4. I've got them at 2 and 5.
Sure.
They beat Connecticut at home.
Yeah, Connecticut sucks.
Georgia Southern.
Unless something's weird, I would assume.
Do you have them winning at A&M?
No.
I don't either. At Arkansas?
I want to see who the coach is. I don't know.
Okay, I'll give them a win there.
Sure.
Mississippi State at home?
Again.
Toss up, flip a coin?
Whatever.
So you've got them at 6 and 6 on a good day. I've got them at somewhere around 5 and 7. So there's your answer.
Somebody says Pat
I
White
think I
jumped
agree
from
with Neil. I
57 to
think 5 and
66% from year 1 to 2.
Say it again, caller.
I think 5 and 7. I think I agree with Neil.
Yeah, and that won't get it done.
I mean, look, history says they can lose in Nashville. We
Sure.
always predict it to be a win, but it's not always a win.
At some point, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here. At some point, Arkansas is going to win a game. They can't lose forever,
Well, their last
right?
SEC win was against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
The day that Jeff Long came out of the skybox mad because they won.
I mean, I can't imagine that they're winning an SEC game next year, but at some point they have to win a game, I guess.
Well, they're not always going to suck.
Well, they might
To this
suck,
degree.
but at some point they're going to win one. I think Plumlee's a better. I mean, I think Corral's a better quarterback.
I think Matt's safe at 6 and 6.
Agreed.
You think Matt Luke is safe at 6 and 6?
I do.
Okay.
What kind of offense should they run with what they have? I mean,
I thought their first half play calling was pretty good tonight. I thought those 2 drives that Plumlee had showed him just to play quarterback. Quit putting it all up on one side, giving one read and playing it out like that. Just play quarterback. See what it looks like. And I thought for the most part it went pretty well. So
and they scrapped it.
Yeah. The second half I thought it went back to the run on first down, run on first down, run on first down, and then let's roll out, let's give an option. That's it. And then it was all kind of for setup stuff, but a lot of these little lateral tosses and stuff, or not lateral, but whatever, that didn't do much for me.
But it's a catch the ball, mesh point, keep it, hand it off, pass.
Mm-hmm.
How many NFL teams were running that?
Well, none running it to that
So
limited.
how the hell do you recruit to that?
That's my question. I don't even know what they're telling wide receivers right now. I don't know.
Oh, what are they telling them? That we're going to run this mesh point offense where we either hand it to Ely or we don't, and then the quarterback runs it, and maybe he throws a little dink. There's no post corner. There's no post. There's no deep out. There's no crossing route. Everything's just dinks. How the hell do you recruit to
totally
that?
forgotten.
How do you
I'd totally
convince
forgotten
Antonio
Braylon.
Harmon to come play in that offense?
Got a guess, caller?
I don't know. I mean, I had totally forgotten Braylon Sanders even existed, and then he just exploded.
It did take a second for me to realize who the number was when I saw it. I
You
went,
thought
oh.
Sam
I was
Williams
thinking
just
Fitz
caught a ball.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Marshall's the one that keeps coming into the comps.
Yeah, but Marshall could throw a little. I don't know. I'm being negative. I'm sorry. I need to chill.
Marshall could throw it about 60 yards.
That is my question to this point. And frankly, his stats on that have been okay. I thought the intermediate pass had enough zip on it. They still aren't doing anything from a schematic standpoint to challenge down the field, though. A lot of his deep passes have sort of been just sort of bailout jump balls. That is what I'm curious about is do they have an extra level after that intermediate ball? And I don't know. We haven't seen that from play calling standpoint to this point that I can tell. So
his deep balls remind me of like a halfway decent high school quarterback.
Did Plumlee throw a deep ball tonight? I mean, my brothers were with me, so I was busy. I was talking to people, but I was watching the game. Did Plumlee throw a deep ball?
I don't know. I'm seeing if Pro Football Focus is updated for the night.
I don't think he did tonight.
Still pending review, so we don't have them available yet.
Yeah, I didn't see a deep ball, but
yeah, I don't recall one.
Maybe I missed something.
Yeah. Appreciate the call tonight.
I tried to make sure that I watched every play of the game, and I did not see a deep ball, but it's possible I missed it.
No, I know. I'm right there with you. I don't recall one for whatever reason that for whatever reason that means. Who's on the line?
Hey guys, it's Mark from Picayune.
How are
What's
you?
up, Mark?
I'm doing pretty good. So I kind of.
What's the temperature in Picayune right now?
But I just kind of had a couple questions. First off, Neal, I don't want to say what your opinion was, but I feel like this season, when the season started, Matt Corral, he was going to kind of the season was going to be built on him progressing. Right.
Right.
And I feel like when he got hurt for whatever reason, that just kind of went to the trash. And according to you, I feel like he's going to go in the transfer portal in the offseason. I feel like that's a pretty accurate statement.
Yeah.
So Plumlee's going to play baseball in the offseason, right?
That is the current plan, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard, but he plays baseball.
Yeah, I've heard he plays baseball, piano, and all that. Great kid.
Yep.
But, my thing is if you're going to play football in the SEC as a quarterback, you've got to, take the whole offseason to develop. So say they start the season 2-4 next year. Do you think Robbie Ashford, as a true freshman quarterback, just comes in and they kind of have to play him?
I don't know. I hadn't seen him.
Yeah. Appreciate the call. I can't really hear you. We'll talk about it in a second.
I don't know. I don't know what Ashford does.
You got to see him. I mean, look, today's college football, freshmen come in and at least get opportunities.
Yeah.
That's the way this works. So I followed the order. Who do I got on the phone?
Yeah, this Ole Miss, USMC, or Jefferson, whatever you want to call me.
Where you at?
Outside Chicago now.
Okay. Neal's area.
Go Cubs.
Yeah, not a Cubs fan. Braves fan.
It's your fault.
Sorry, Neal.
So that's a you problem.
Yeah, it's my problem. I'm sorry. So, yeah, the question I had for y'all, we keep talking about, hey, get rid of Luke. Believe me, I'm definitely in that group. However, as this keeps playing out with the Boyce situation and then the interim tag getting pulled off of Keith Carter, like how good is his job going forward? You know what I mean? Like who's going to go for it? Is it going to have to be some Hail Mary young coach that's looking like an up-and-comer, or can we get an established coach?
No, the program's stable again.
Administration's going.
The NCAA thing, I mean, it's where Keith was right the other day. Every day is a day away from that. The program's pretty stable. You're an SEC West job. Just go hire the best coach you can find.
Yes, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I know what y'all are saying. But what I'm saying is it's like
if I'm a coach that's maybe established myself at a FBS or a lower Power 5 school, and Ole Miss comes calling, with the way the administration is rolling, am I gonna roll the dice and go for that, or am I gonna go for maybe a lesser job that I think has more stability?
How much are they paying?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess money talks, right?
Hell yeah, it does. Luke's making what, 3.5?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty
good.
Let's say you pay the next guy, established coach X, $5 million. Hell yeah, he wants the job. Come on, man. I mean, look, I'm gonna say the same thing that I tell people when they talk about the Arkansas job or the Mississippi State job. Is it the LSU job? No. Is it the Alabama job? No. But if you want to get a guy that is legitimately good, he's got ego, right? That guy thinks I'm gonna.
I hope so.
Damn right. I'm hiring a guy with ego. I'm hiring a guy who goes, I can win. I can win at Ole Miss. I can win at Arkansas. I can win at South Carolina. I can win at Kentucky. I want that dude. And that dude, he's probably good. I'm hiring that dude. I'm hiring the dude that goes, hell yeah, I can win at South Carolina. I can win at Mississippi State. Hell yeah, I can win at Ole Miss. Hugh Freeze won at Ole Miss. Hell yeah, I'm going to win at Ole Miss. David Cutcliffe won at Ole Miss. Hell yes, I'm going to win at Ole Miss. And I'm not doing this, oh, well, he might leave me thingy. Yeah, for him to leave, he's got to win first. I mean, I'm telling you, man, there's so much fear, and I don't know where it comes from. It's like Tommy Tuberville's about to be a U.S. Senator. He's like 20-something years ago. I'm not talking to you, caller. Just people got to get past this. Yeah, I mean, it's the whole supermodel argument. Are you willing to date a supermodel for a couple of years knowing that she's probably going to leave you for a better-looking guy? Sure.
Minnesota is not upset right now with PJ Fleck, the fact that he's probably going to be the head coach at Michigan or some damn
I'm going to date the supermodel. Is she going to leave me in a couple of years for a better-looking guy? Probably. Here's what's going to happen. I get 2 years of sleeping with the supermodel. And at the end of those 2 years, she's going to leave me.
But she's got to stay in shape and stay popular to do it.
And what's going to happen? I'm now going to be attractive to the next supermodel. The up-and-coming supermodel is going to say, oh, look what that supermodel turned him into. I'm hooking up with him. I'm in.
Saying it's easier to get the second supermodel after you get the first supermodel?
It's so much easier to get the second supermodel after you get the first supermodel. And then it gets so much easier to get the third supermodel after you get the second one. And I know everybody's going, oh, Neil, you'd have no chance as a supermodel. I get that. I'm not, it's not a literal deal. I'm being figurative. Yes, you don't get freaked out by that. You're better off getting the guy who can come in and take your program to another level and then use it as a launching pad to the next place, and then you go hire the next person. You don't do the scared thing. It's an SEC West job. Pay a bunch of money, hire the right guy, let him come in and win, and when he's done winning, he moves on to another place and you hire the next guy.
No, agreed. So y'all are talking from the perspective of a rational administration. I'm talking about from the current administration that may or may not be willing to take that flyer on someone.
I think it's fine as long as Boyce lets Keith run the department.
Because Keith hired Kermit Davis.
Yeah.
Keith was going to try to hire Mike White. He couldn't get him, and he hired Kermit Davis. So Keith,
and they looked at Thad Matta, and they looked at Tom Crean.
I think Keith is fine as long as Boyce disappears and just works on his mustache for a while and lets Keith do his job. I think it'll be okay.
I guess my last point, and then I'll hang up and let y'all keep talking, is if I'm a coach that have many options, I proved myself, I'm a good coach, why would I go to Ole Miss other than another school where they have an administration that's not crazy and that's not,
SEC,
it's got all these weird things going on.
It's an SEC job paying potentially $5 million a year. That's why you take the job.
So straight up money.
Yeah.
100%.
Hell yeah, of course.
But I mean, it is in the SEC West. It's a front door to something.
When you go home and you talk to your wife and you say, okay, so I'm making 1.4 here. They're willing to pay me $4 million. And she goes, oh, baby.
And a 4-year deal that's guaranteed?
So they're going to give you 4 years guaranteed at $4 million. 4 times the 4 is 60. Yeah, we're in.
And I only have to win 5 games a year to keep my job?
Well, I mean, it's just, again, you've got the ego that you don't even think that way. It's like the recruit, right? It's the recruit that says, hey, I'm going pro after 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Even though your analysis says he's probably a 5-year deal, he's probably going to need a red shirt. You can't recruit him that way because he thinks I'm 3 years in pro. You have to recruit him that way. And then once he gets to campus, maybe you show him that, hey, you probably need to take a step back. During the recruiting process, you've got to go, hey, man, you're three into the NFL. I mean, perception is reality.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call. Y'all have a good night.
No problem. Thank you. I don't know. Just looking through them.
Am I crazy?
For what?
Any of it. Am I wrong?
No, you're being completely irrational with your bottle of Pinot Noir that you've had tonight.
It's starting to run low.
Yeah.
I know.
Who's on the line?
This is Exasperated Reb.
What's up?
Are you, in fact, exasperated?
When I got that name on the board, I was pretty exasperated. But now my exasperation has hit levels that I don't know. There's not enough Pinot Noir in Mississippi to drown it out.
What are you most pissed off about tonight?
Oh, my God. Well, I thought it was going to be football, but then after the mustache bandit became our chancellor, I don't know. I think if you're an Ole Miss fan, you just have this sense that things cannot, like, they can't get better. You know what I mean? Because, there's an administration, and I'm not going to knock Keith Carter. I went to school with him, good guy. I do think he's going to do well if he's left alone. But I have no faith that he will be left alone.
No, it's fair.
It's
fair.
What has history shown at this point?
Well, history shows that they've got to hire a search committee and do a national search to do anything.
Best job in America. Search firm for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, sign me up.
I know it's much easier to make jokes here. This is once I will give the search firm a little bit of credit from a confidentiality standpoint. I guess compared to the Chancellor search anyway.
Yeah.
Todd Turner and those guys did at least keep things fairly quiet.
Well, Todd Turner kept things quiet. The governor didn't. I mean, it's one of those things. It's okay.
Man, if you can't laugh, what are you going to do?
Can you grow a mustache, Neil?
Yeah, I could grow one.
You want to do that?
No.
You think that should be to the loser of Neil's picks?
Well, it would only be if you grew it on one side of your face, not the other.
So you have to shave one side?
Well, you would just grow stubble on one side and a full mustache on the other.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. I would rather hear about Neil's troubles growing hair any day of the week than to hear my own voice.
Yeah. Lots of trouble.
Listen, a couple of things, and I know it's kind of early to talk about this because the kid, and I don't want to pile on the kid too much. I mean, I'm going to let the internet do that for me. But, Elijah Moore has been mentioned prominently to be in the transfer portal particularly. Didn't he just screw himself out of getting any good college offer by what he did tonight?
Nope. No, not at all.
You think the optics will be overlooked? I mean, he does have numbers and everything.
I don't think a good program would give a damn.
Yeah,
they would assume their culture will not allow it, and it'll be fine.
Do you think that they'll just buy him dinner at IHOP and everything will be better?
Fly the jet right into town if that's needed.
There it is. One other thing. Oh, by the way, Neil, I wanted to tell you, Matt Luke is 100% safe if he goes 6-6 next year.
You're probably right.
I mean, listen, as an Ole Miss fan since the dirty 90s probation, if I've learned anything, it's that going to the Birmingham Bowl is 100% job security at Ole Miss.
I think I'm good there. I feel like 6-6 is fine, especially the way I think it would have to happen. I think they would play a successful end of season.
Yeah, because you have to win, right? It has to be.
Yeah, that's my guess. I really believe that.
Because because like, let me tell you something. You always ask your callers what they're drinking, when they call in, generally speaking. And like, I got to tell you something. The hand raised guys on October the 17th next year, after we play the Florida Gators, after Alabama, LSU, Auburn, and Baylor, people are going to be just drinking just like shoe polish at that point.
Just like straight Everclear.
Yeah, Everclear.
Straight
absinthe.
Everclear Bacardi 151.
No absinthe rinse, just absinthe.
Yeah.
No, just like gas.
It's going to be like, so what I did was I took this match and I just lit the entire bottle and I drank it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be just a disgusting. It's just going to be every curse word in the book, just brutal. Like, I'm going to have to hide your children from it. That's going to be the worst hand raise. Worst or best. I can't decide.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Straight.
Listen, guys, you guys do a great job. Thanks for everything you guys do. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you. Straight bleach.
Straight bleach.
Yeah.
Just Drano. Yeah, I'm already terrified about a potential call show at 2 and 5 next season.
It's 12:45 a.m. and the calls are just rolling in.
What if it's and 2 and 5 gives the Vanderbilt game?
Yeah.
Who's on the line?
Archie from Ocean Springs.
Hey, Archie.
All right, first things first. The Halloween candy show was phenomenal. Enjoyed the ranking of Halloween candy.
Oh yeah,
but
of course.
Thank you.
No, it's good. Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand the last 2 years as a whole, because who are these Ole Miss fans that have just ridiculous expectations? Because clearly, this is what it is right now, and that's what's going to be for the foreseeable future.
I think a lot of the Ole Miss fans with more higher expectations is that they lost every, not preseason, but every in-season coin flip this year. Look, Arkansas was much worse than we expected. Vanderbilt was much worse than we expected. But you look at it, and I'm not even throwing Auburn and Missouri in there, because those games were at least pace-wise game control by the opponent. But State, Cal, Memphis, A&M. Yeah, there were 4 there that were very winnable, and they went 0-4 in them. So, from an expectation standpoint of whether it's this staff or another staff, and Ole Miss is fully justified in expecting to win some of those games.
And I think you have to throw Missouri in that group.
Okay.
Because Missouri's not good.
No.
I think if you want to excuse
they just got them right before the shine went off.
Yeah, I think if you want to excuse Ole Miss's losses to Alabama and to Auburn and to LSU, I'm with you.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Yeah, those teams are better than Ole Miss. But the other ones? To not win any of them?
0-5.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because we did play a lot of games this year that could have gone either way. Definitely could have gone in our favor, and we definitely should have won some of those games. But just the fact that that's the position that we're in, where we could have won 4 more games this year than we did, I think not bad, considering what's happened in the last couple of years. Because multiple things can be true at one time. Like, our program got completely devastated, but also we're in fairly decent shape for that happening. Like, and I understand both positions. A lot of people don't like Luke. I think Luke has done reasonably well. Tonight, not so much. All the things can be true at once, because if you got a passing quarterback and you're going to play a team that doesn't defend the pass really well, why do you wait the entire game to put him in? That was bad coaching.
Yeah, I thought that was a prisoner of the moment a little bit versus any type of other kind of picture.
Why wait till the fourth quarter?
I just think it was
Yeah.
not a maybe a panic move,
and if you're going to wait till the fourth quarter, why not ride with the guy that's going to be your quarterback next year? Let him have the learning experience. You're not coaching for your job tonight.
I agree. No, I agree with that. Because I think we all know that he's going to be there until the end of next year. He's got another year, and he's going to sink or swim on his own merits. And I think he got sidelined a little bit with the Plumlee thing this year because it's what you were saying earlier. Like, the beginning of the season, he was going to go with Corral. We're going to have some growing pains. It's a, pay your dues type of year. But then Plumlee came in and, hey, maybe we can get some people to come watch the games. All right? Like, I think that's what happened. But also, as a head coach, you can't be like that. You got to have a plan. You got to stick to it. It's all the things you said tonight. But my opinion is it's not an either-or situation. A bunch of things can be true at one time.
Yeah. The program off the field is better than it was 3 years ago. The program on the field is not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think that there's any way that it was going to be good in the next couple of years. And if you were thinking that we were just going to rebound from this, like, within the 3-year period, I don't think that's realistic expectation. It's gonna be a minute before we're good at football again. And also, have these people not been Ole Miss fans their whole lives? Like, I'm 47 years old.
All right, I'm gonna play devil. Can I do this playing devil's advocate, understanding that I'm not being I'm not being literal here. I'm literally playing devil's advocate. Matt Rule is winning at Baylor at a high level. Their program got gutted. Their program got gutted.
That is 100% a fair point.
And I don't even mean it. I don't even mean it as a point, though. It's just when people say, "So here's the deal," and again, I mean, we're doing the whole Andy Kennedy. The numbers, you are what the numbers say you are. Like Chase said, they went 6-6, then 5-7, and now you're 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, close does not count in football. 4-8, 2-6 in the league, and the two teams you beat a team that's going to go. Presumably, Arkansas will lose to Missouri tomorrow and go 0-8 in the league. They've already fired their coach, and their program is an abomination right now. And you beat a Vanderbilt team at home that, A, they suck, and B, the day that you played them, they were so checked out. That's it. That's all you beat. You went 1-5 in the SEC West. That is, if you are what the numbers say you are, you suck.
No, I mean, I agree with that. Right? That's what I'm saying. A bunch of people had a problem with Luke getting the job, but once he got the job, I don't think he's done terrible. Now, am I thrilled to pieces? No. Of course I'm not. But I don't know anybody in the country that's gonna turn it around quicker than this. I mean, the things that happen, and we're gonna have to take our medicine.
Would Justin Fuente turn it around faster than this? Would Matt Campbell turn it around faster than this?
Possibly.
Would Mike Norvell turn it around faster than this? Would Lane Kiffin turn it around faster than this? Would Mike Leach turn it around faster than this? I'm not. I'm not being rhetorical. I'm literally asking, what do you think? How many of those people would turn it around faster than what they are today? And if your answer is none of those guys, then hey, cool. But if your answer is, well, I don't know, because that's where the question is.
It goes back on coaching, but man, it's what I said after the Auburn game. This is dumb, and it shouldn't be that way because, frankly, there is a credit for getting competitive in the SEC under the elite teams, obviously. But Matt Luke would have been much better off to Auburn losing by 40 points.
Oh, no doubt.
He's losing one-possession games, and that makes it look like it's games that are very winnable, and it's coaching losing those games.
Because those are games that are winnable.
Yeah. That is the problem. It'd be different if they were just getting hammered every week.
Oh, that'd have been much better if Auburn had lit them up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I agree. It's frustrating, right? And hey, there's definitely a couple of coaches that you named. Kiffin, probably. Mike Leach. I mean, I do enjoy Mike Leach, but I don't want to be a Pirate, right? Like,
Well, I'm just throwing his name out. I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you pay $5 million a year, the list of coaches that are available to you is a lot longer than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think we're all going to find that out next year because there's no way he's going anywhere until the end of next year. And I think you're right with the whole interim thing from earlier. You can't fire him in the middle of the year. Like, you got to give him a whole year, and then we'll make some decisions. Like, hey, I'm glad he got a shot. Like, am I thrilled to pieces with the job? No. Do I hate it? No, but I'm certainly not outraged. I tell you what, I don't like the discipline issue because you just can't have that. I mean, it's just dumb to say what happened tonight was unacceptable, but I mean, it seems to be a recurring problem. And from a guy like Matt Luke, I wouldn't expect that type of behavior from a team that he's in charge of. I mean, that got to be taken care of.
Yeah, appreciate the call. I really think that is some part of the question from earlier is, in some ways, is the game too hyped up to the guys where they do feel that this emotion to make dumb decisions like that?
Sure.
It's a valid question. I don't know the answer. Only Elijah Moore can answer that question. But, I mean, I really do. I think that is I think that's a very valid point.
Turn your device down.
Who's on?
This is Hayden from Pontotoc.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, lovely.
Good. So I'll kind of go in the opposite direction of the last caller, I guess. What is Matt Luke after 3 years? What would you say like he brings like on the field, like as a coach from a coaching standpoint?
His teams play really hard.
He keeps the energy up and doesn't allow them to, he does not lose the team like some coaches would given what just happened. That's his best trait.
Yeah, but okay, so he's went 6-6, 5-7, and now 4-8. So I mean, from a production standpoint, that his kids playing hard's not really working out for him too well.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of wanted to see what y'all thought about that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure.
No, that is what it is. I mean, there's no doubt.
What's the temp in Pontotoc?
Probably similar to whatever we're doing with right now,
Yeah,
I guess.
probably.
Oh, God. Oh, gosh. All right. I think we're going to wrap. I think we've covered most of it. Again, Ole Miss 4-8 on the season, losing 21-20 in a way that I certainly did not anticipate.
Nope.
Coming into the night, it is basketball season. The Rebels are 5-1 on the year. They play in the finals of the NIT tip-off or whatever it's called.
NIT tip-off
is that
tomorrow
right?
night. It's
Okay.
at 8:30 Central Time.
Against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State.
ESPN2, I think. Oklahoma State. I can't sit here and promise you that I will have post-game coverage.
Not 100% sure.
I'm not willing to make that promise.
Okay. We will do the best we can. We appreciate you guys. We will have some basketball hand raise, guys. We'll figure out how that's going to occur.
Ole Miss Banker
We'll get that
says,
done.
Neil, Hugh Freeze or Houston Nutt to hang out with. Houston Nutt all day long.
You'd pick Houston?
All day.
What are we doing?
Just anything.
You know, the activity does not matter.
No.
You're in with Houston no matter what.
Yes.
Ride horses, play
Sure.
golf, go to the bar, whatever.
Absolutely.
You'll take Houston.
Absolutely. No question. Not even a thought.
Don't think so?
Nope.
Okay.
It won't be great, but we'll be okay.
He'll tell you a story or two.
Yeah,
and
he'll tell. Yeah, we'll get over it.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, guys. As always, take care.